Hello and welcome, stripping the dish. That's not gonna work. Nope. Part two, take two. It's always when I'm under the least amount of pressure that's gonna make the most mistakes. Okay, take two. My dear, we're not gonna stop laughing. Okay, let me compose myself. So,
It's
take
okay.
number
Just
two.
keep going, man. Keep going. You can do this. I'm
Thank
definitely
you.
gonna include this one.
Oh no, you can't do that. My secret, my run of flawless intros will be ruined. You can't expose me like this. Okay, all right. Three, two, one, and hello and welcome to Jorgy Stripping the Dipping. Hello there, all Stripping the Dipping Nation. This is your usual co-host, AMG DENZ, aka Denzel Clarkson. And I can't lie, like today, I haven't really come prepared with any crazy analogies or similes or metaphors because listen, I've got the boss lady on the other side of the conversation today, founder of Stripping the Dipping, the legend, the boss, the manager, literally the manager. That is obviously Jorgina Donna. How are you doing today, Jorgina?
Oh, wait, I'm still cleaning my red carpet though.
Oh gosh, I'm sure we could find somebody to do that whilst you're here.
So, do you prefer caviar or champagne or both? What do you want?
Oh, well, to be honest, I've tried champagne on one or two occasions, but I've never tried caviar. I'm not quite as push to that level yet, but perhaps one day we'll get to that stage where we can
Yeah,
have
well, honey,
caviar.
I hope that we both can get into that level.
Of course, it would be nice, just see us chilling at the side of the Monaco Grand Prix, just with our two cups and that, just enjoying the scenes. Probably Leclerc crashing at Monaco too, as he does, but we won't get into that. But yeah,
Throwing
Georgina.
Red Bull cans into the dustbin.
Oh yeah, of course. Unless you're Latifi because he's clearly sponsored by them. But we move. But Georgina, like, how have you been? And what was your thoughts on the most recent Emilia Romagna Italian Imola Grand Prix?
Well, good question. I actually did an episode with F1 Diplomat while you were running the Dreamland, actually. Um,
Lewis knows that I've escaped the podcast room, as for the
yeah.
tweet that we sent out a while ago.
So just like he mentioned, this track is very classic. It's very old,
Hmm.
and the cars are very new and very bigger. So there might have been issues with the track, but the results, to be fair, I think Max actually drove very well. I can't believe I'm saying it. So,
I know, right? Parallel
right?
universe.
Oh my God, that happened to the universe. So yeah, during the sprint, even during the weekend, the race, he did very well. I think what happened with Charles was he was too greedy. In
Mm,
short,
mm, yep.
he was pushing maybe too hard, and he made the mistake. And to be honest, I didn't watch the end of the races because it was bloody boring, to be honest,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So I skipped the whole damn thing and I was just checking it on Twitter because, if you're on Twitter, you're informed.
Of course. There's no
So,
shortage of this energy, gossip, toxicity on Twitter, of course. But no,
yeah, keep them coming, honey. It's going to
yeah,
be open bar.
definitely. But just don't send them our way, of course, because we're too legendary for that. But yeah, just like I totally kind of agree with you on that as well. Like what should have been probably a really cool race weekend turned out to be just a bit of just like a blowout, to be fair, because yeah, just
Yeah.
like we had, it's like the rain gods couldn't make their minds up coming into the race weekend because the practice session on Friday was pretty much almost written off at one stage for the F2 and F3 guys, and then finally managed to get some kind of practice running in on Friday. And obviously we had the sprint race as well, which was cool because we saw a couple of moves being made by different people. Kevin Magnussen, the Danish Viking again, showing his guts and glory. Lando Norris really pulling up McLaren up into the pecking order again, which is nice to see for them. And then yeah, even just Max's approach to the weekend was well, you had to kind of I guess take your hat off in some regards because he drove pretty much decent race weekend for him, considering Red Bull hadn't had like the most productive start to the season, let's say. In the sprint race, it seemed like he was managing his tires behind Leclerc whilst Leclerc was trying to drive off and obviously impress the Tifosi. And then within the last couple of laps of the sprint race, Verstappen just closed up the gap. And then, the funniest thing with Imola is like, as Diplomat probably mentioned, is it's a classic circuit. It was actually made in 1950, and we didn't actually get a race there until 1980. So it's been around actually for nearly 40 years, which is crazy. But
Yeah,
again, there's only one DRS zone, and with these newer cars, when you're coming off the Rivazzas, I'm not going to do my Italian accent today, unfortunately, because no pineapple on pizza. But when you're trying to basically come off of those two final corners onto the final pitch straight, it's so important you get a good exit. And the Red Bull just seemed really planted this weekend. So it wasn't even just Max that performed quite well, but even Perez just provided pretty much the obstacle to trade to Leclerc when
it was overall a Red Bull week, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, you had to say
Yeah.
that. And then
But
also
Denzel,
mhm,
what was shocking for me was not the race results. Actually, that's just a race. That is racing. That's what
sure.
you're supposed to expect. Okay, you need to accept that
Hmm.
because sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't, and you need to work through and get it right then. But the smaller mistakes are the worst because even if you build a bigger ship, if you have a tiny hole,
It
then
was
you know
still
the
sick.
result, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So just like that, what happened, what I saw regarding Mercedes is what the hell has happened to them with the pit crew? I mean, the pit.
Yeah, like Jorgina, they're really crumbling under the pressure, unfortunately, And I think, whilst I don't want to be too critical of them because it is something that they could perhaps turn around, I think maybe a kind of a thing you could note with Mercedes is because Lewis has been so dominant and he's been at the top of his game for so many years that Mercedes have almost had the luxury of being able to pull him or Valtteri in, usually, in most cases, probably up until 21, and they've had like a nice kind of buffer to other cars. They can afford the extra 6 tenths of a second, 7 tenths of a second because Lewis could just make the time up anyway. But obviously, now when you have a compromised car that doesn't perform so well, just generally speaking, and
Yeah,
then
the
on top of
weaknesses
that,
are showing off.
exactly. And then the strategy as well, I think, would probably be poured into question as well. Because Georgina, I didn't know what you thought of it. I was screaming at my TV when I was seeing that the track was drying up. And then Bono said to Lewis, mate, do you think it's time for dries? And obviously, Lewis might have said, well, no, because he's obviously being cautious and thinking about the long game. But
Yeah,
Bono had seen that Ricardo had probably pitted. So I don't understand why they waited until like the other cars came into pit to then box Lewis, and then obviously like you're correctly referencing with that slow pit stop, it then really put him on the back foot, and then he almost got crashed into by Ocon as well, which was nuts. Like you rarely ever see two cars like make collisions with each other in the pit stop, and that's usually highly like frowned upon. But this week we saw like an unsafe release, and Ocon nearly almost crashed into Lewis, which made my heart jump as well. So my heart was probably racing for all the wrong reasons. But I absolutely agree with you. If it's not just the car, I think that there are other areas that Mercedes could focus on, and it's definitely in terms of pit
exactly,
stops.
exactly.
They need to
Yes,
work on that,
totally,
but then
totally.
also. Mhm.
We are overlapping.
No,
Yeah,
because that's the thing. There's
totally.
so much to unpack, but
Yeah,
even just the
exactly. Oh my
communication.
good God, where were you all this time, man?
It's true. You know what, Georgina? Maybe at some point we have to do like a live race reaction together, like on YouTube or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like, oh yes, baby, we should do that.
That would be amazing. Like, I'm sure that our Twitter followers and all of our listeners as well will probably be really on board with that. So that'd be even cooler. But yeah, just and Georgina, I was gonna segue this back to you and like let you elaborate on this. Like we were talking the other day backstage about like how it's not just the drivers that obviously make the show, but also obviously the team as well. And you're
Yeah,
speaking obviously to the angry engineer, shout out to him. And he was obviously mentioning that, the mechanics and even just the pit stop crew, they have to physically be in shape and they maybe don't get credit for that. maybe that's something Mercedes need to focus on too, just with their pit crew and just making sure that they're conditioned, to be a bit more quicker with these stops and hands on and not to make any mistakes. Because we see Red Bull do
Exactly.
it week in, week out, and I do not want this to become a Red Bull stan account because it never will. Just putting it
Oh,
out there,
good
it
God,
never
no.
will. But I think we're humble enough to take defeat when it's like in the correct or when it's in a justified manner. And
Yeah,
yeah, the only
totally.
kind of positive you could really take away from this weekend was that Russell just managed to do his own thing, which again, maybe you could argue even Russell was a bit lucky because there's a bit of contact on the first lap between Sainz and Ricardo, and you would have probably thought that those two would have probably made it to the end as well had they had not had their issues as well.
Yeah, well, when it comes to George Russell, he was lucky because when they started the race, there was Ricardo and Sainz colliding together. Then Bottas was included in there, so it was
True.
a mess. During those times, Russell managed to go in front, and then with that wheelbarrow that he has right now, okay, yeah, that kid pushed it very hard trying to keep Bottas behind, and he did really well. Trust me, he really did very well. So we have to appreciate that. When it comes to
Absolutely.
Luis, that was bloody bad luck because he couldn't do anything. Everything went wrong with him. Well, we don't have to talk about the wheelbarrow that they're having. Obviously, everyone knows about it. But the strategy, the pit stops,
And then the DRS
everything.
train.
Yeah, bloody hell. I mean, you can't expect a person to go overtake a person when they're stuck behind the DRS train.
Another
I mean,
person with DRS. It's like
yeah,
four people with
exactly.
DRS following each other in a train. And
Oh,
that's the
I
thing.
mean, which
Lewis is
one
at the
should go in front then?
exactly. It was like almost the London Underground, how those guys are following each other with like each driver being a separate carriage. Like, I absolutely agree. Just it was tough. And,
Yeah.
still what I give Lewis credit for is that he didn't give up. It would have been easy for him to just preserve his engine and just to stay behind Gasly by a couple of seconds and cruise to the end. But he still tried to pressure Gasly into a mistake. And people rate Gasly quite highly, and he didn't really crumble under the pressure either. So, just because the result wasn't what you were looking for, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is a negative reflection on Lewis. And
No, that was a really good performance. I mean, even though they were
mm,
stuck behind in that DRS train, sorry, Gasly was really good. I mean, if it was somebody else who was easily breakable, then he would have given up. Then Lewis would have gone up because Lewis didn't go easy on Gasly as well. So
true.
kudos to both of them actually because both of them pushed really well. So we have to
Mm,
appreciate it, and it's a sport after all. If you're winning and losing fairly, then no one is having an issue. Trust me.
that's
But
true.
yeah, exactly. But the issue comes down to those smaller mistakes that I was telling you about earlier as well. Because if the other teams can have better pit crew, why am I keep on saying screw? Okay, pit stop. I'm going to use that word because I'm going to get screwed over with that word. So, if the other teams can handle their pit stops, then why can't Mercedes? I mean, for God's sake, they are 8-time champions. So they should actually focus on those smaller issues as well while they are catching the big fish. Because of course we know that the when it comes to the pit crew, um, there are a lot of things going on. They need to take the temperature, the tire temperatures, preserve the tire temperatures, get the tires scanned by the FIA during the same time, put the tires, get ready for those things, listen to the engineer, everything. It's a mess. We know that. But
Mhm.
every team has that mess. Every team goes
Yeah,
through that. So it's not something that only this team goes through. So if others can do, then this team can do way better than that. If
that's
Red
true.
Bull can perform well, if McLaren can perform well, so why not Mercedes? If they were not prepared, thinking that just like you mentioned earlier, oh, it's Lewis, it's Russell, they can manage, we will have enough time for the pit. Well, here's news flash: you don't have enough time anymore.
Hmm.
So while the engineers are focusing on the other big issues, the crew on the ground the staff on the ground who are actually managing all these departments, they should focus on their side as well, because if the car is not performing well, at least at least these small teams, because they are, even though the team is small, they're playing a bigger part. They
Sure.
can actually put a lot in winning and earning points, because the best example is Imola, to be to be exact, because we saw how Lewis got screwed over with that pit stop. So
Mhm.
we know that they need to improve in that. But of course, like you said, the pressure is there. They are under immense pressure. I'm not going to, even ignore that part, because we need to accept that, because it's not easy. They don't want to wake up, just like Diplo said. They're not going to wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I'm going to build the worst car ever." They need to improve. They are going to prove, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, they are getting an immense pressure. And after all, we are all human beings. So mentally, it's demanding. Emotionally, physically, it's demanding. We do understand. But you got that job while knowing that demands. So you need to get your shit together.
Of course. No, no true words were spoken, Georgina. I absolutely agree with you on that. And in a way, that was also, I think, a nice segue because we're gonna copy the quick stop F1 guys here because I like their little not little either.
Yeah.
It's quite funny and it's probably one of the good parts of the show amongst many. The donkey of the day or driver of the day. And starting off with a negative, I'm gonna nominate Nico Rosberg. Nico, one timer champion donkey of the day because I don't know if you guys like see as much of the Sky Sports coverage in Sri Lanka, Georgina, but we
No,
had
no, not
this
really.
we had this like fraudulent like German guy Nico Rosberg, Brittany as we used to call him, essentially on Sky Sports for part of the pre-race shows and stuff like that. And all week, Georgina, it felt like he was just basically hired to fabricate like a huge like war between Russell and Lewis. And it all started off on Saturday when they asked Nico, "Oh, well, what do you think of Russell?" And he said, "Oh, well, he's a good driver, but again, like I don't think that he's gonna be like the leader of Mercedes. I don't think that you could really see anything that says that he's leadership material." I was like, mate, he's been there for 4 races, and then just to add to that, Georgina, then on Sunday when Russell did manage to score P4, which is best of the race, then he moved the goalpost, Nico Rosberg, and he shifted his attention to Lewis and said, "Oh, George, obviously you just scored a P4, but aren't you happy to smash Lewis?" I was like, dude, why are you trying to fabricate a narrative between George and Lewis? And why are you trying to like basically make out that Lewis is finished when he's anything but? Lewis is only just getting started in this thing, and he's only just getting started with this W13. So yeah, he has to be like I like honestly, I hope we get to the stage one day, Georgina, where we just don't need Sky Sports because people just tune into us instead. Because it was this absolute garbage. And I can't stand the guy. So he was my donkey of the
All
day.
right, then let me ask you this question. All right, I'm
Mhm,
interrupting you because I need to ask you this question.
mhm.
What's the difference between a guy who got a human era championship and a guy who got a championship with a lot of changes, like in the mid season mechanic changes and this and that and all those, and ran away without even fighting back
Defending a
for another
championship,
championship? Yeah. So what's the
Jeez.
difference between those two?
Well, it's a great question, George, because honestly, there's not much. The difference must be the difference between George and Lewis's car. They're identical, to some varying degree. Like,
Yeah.
whilst I think, Nico learned how to battle with Lewis, that you could give him some brownie points for. His role as a pundit, I think, is just disgusting because he just uses it as a platform to bash Lewis and I think play into narratives that maybe Sky Sports pay him to say. Or maybe it's on his own back because maybe he feels that when Lewis came into Mercedes and took away the team from him, that like he was left out, and he needed those same advantages you talked about, them changing the mechanics halfway into a season, Lewis having loads of mechanical failures in 2016, just to be able to beat Lewis by 1 point at the end of it. So yeah, lots of soap, but it's amazing that even after what, it's 2016, right? So nearly after 6 years, he still hasn't got over it. You know, and it just makes him just seem like like unpleasurable, like just like like salty. And if you want salt, maybe I could take him to the fish and chip store because there's many salts there. So yeah, he has to be my donkey of the day. And I didn't know if you had any other nominations, if you wanted to join in on me,
Well,
or nominate someone else.
when it comes to Max Verstappen and Nico Rosberg, I think Max is way better than Nico because at least that guy is trying to defend his human error championship without
True.
running away, okay, without saying in a surprise event during the interview, without even talking with the TP, saying, "Hello, people, I'm going to retire. Bye bye, suckers." So, Verstappen is way better than Nico. But these guys who's been on the topic these days after Imola, Verstappen's dad. How do you pronounce his name? Jose? Who's?
No, just Just.
Oh, John. Okay. I'm so sorry for that.
That's
uh,
fine.
Jaws and Marco and Nico and who was this IndyCar? The guy I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Grosjean,
Grosjean,
right?
that
Yeah,
baguette,
Grosjean.
that
Oh
crispy
shit,
baguette.
my brain is my brain is new. So yeah, Grosjean, all these guys, oh my god, they're having their own careers, their own teams, and their own life. So why are they bloody obsessed with Louise? I
It's
don't
because he's
get
the
the
GOAT.
reason.
He's the GOAT. That's why. And it's they want to kick. You see how like low these people are, Georgina. They're trying to kick a man whilst he's down. They're not trying to fight Lewis toe to toe, like face to face in the ring. They're trying to kick a man whilst he's down on the ground because it's easy for them to do that because they haven't gone through the obstacles and challenges that Lewis faced in his life, the adversity Lewis faced in his life. The obstacles, the trauma Lewis has experienced at parts of his life, through to the hands of people like this. So it doesn't surprise me at all, Georgina. It really doesn't. But you know what? Like, we're a positive podcast here. So I wanted to get into like our drive of the day. And I think obviously the obvious one would be George because he performed really well. Obviously, he stayed out of trouble on the first lap.
Yeah,
He got the most out of the car. But another outsider I wanted to throw inside the mix there was a young Yuki Tsunoda because I think he managed to
he is
secure.
so underrated, trust me, because
Yeah,
that guy is driving very well. He's defending very well. Even during last seasons, of course, he had crashes, of course, but he was
that's rookie.
defending very well. And even Imola, during Imola, he was doing great. He was on the top 10. So I don't know why no one is mentioning him.
Absolutely, and I know Natsumi would probably like slap us as well if we didn't mention
Oh,
him
bloody
because that's her driver. But no, like I absolutely agree with you. He's shown maturity and development as well because last year he had a really bad crash in Imola where he nearly wiped off the entire rear end of the car. But then this year, I don't recall him like having a crash or a spin in any of the practice sessions. He just kept his head down. He was composed. And then we also have to bear in mind as well, Georgie, that like Imola or the Imola Grand Prix is essentially AlphaTauri's local kind of home race. The factory is only a couple of miles away from the circuit, so for them to like get that result there as well, whilst they've had reliability issues or Gasly had like I think like a sickness in Jeddah, he's done extremely well. So I'm super proud of Yuki too. But with that in mind, Georgie, because we've got a very packed episode today,
Yeah,
let's
but
break it
okay.
down for our
Okay, wait.
listeners.
I need to ask you a question.
Go
This
for
is
it.
also going back to all these issues that these people were trying to bring up using media.
Mhm.
First of all, media is trying to create dramas because without dramas, they don't have any income properly. The ratings, the viewers, the clickbaits, nothing. So they need drama. So without Louis, they don't get drama. So they're asking these questions purposely. But if you were the racer and if you would have won all these races during the weekends and your dad was giving an interview, if a person comes and asks you about things, then you won't be talking about Lewis Hamilton or somebody else. Your dad will be talking about you and how proud he is about you, you know? So these
Exactly.
people who are bringing up Lewis's name, media know me, even for the media personnel, they know whom to ask these questions. I mean, when it comes to Nico and all these, most of these F1 pundits, they're actually not real journalists, to be honest. They don't know
True.
what to ask. They're just going through these trends and, clickbait stories and stuff. But if it's a proper journalist, they know what sort of questions to ask, and these journalists know which pot to stir. So, and these people are actually, they're very obsessed with Louis than their own life, their own son, their own career. So that's the way that things are going. That's how they are going to live up their life. So that's actually a very miserable way to live. So
Yeah,
uh
well, Georgina, like Lewis lives in their head rent free. Like Lewis probably doesn't even need a house because he could just live inside these people's
so
brains
many houses,
non-stop.
man.
Like this is the thing, like it's actually embarrassing for them the way that they're carrying on, and they're trying to basically stigmatize Lewis. They're trying to play
Yeah.
down his career and achievements. I already see them trying to tarnish his career, and I think as us as the fans, we need to talk out and stuff like this because Lewis's legacy is one of, like, it's one in a lifetime. I don't, even if we do get another, like, like black Formula One driver or driver from another ethnic minority coming into Formula One and being successful, there would never be another Lewis Hamilton. He is
No,
just Lewis, and we
the
love
one
and
and
adore
only.
him that way. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, we've touched on that bit sufficiently. I'm satisfied that we've done our standing this week,
Out of the
rightfully so
system,
as
boys.
well.
Out of the system.
Absolutely, so yeah, let's actually get into the episode then and talk about what it is. So this week, me and Georgina, I was mainly Georgina because she's amazing and this is the clock that keeps ticking here. She was like,
Uh-huh.
"Then how about we do like a 25 question?" So what it is, it's like not a game, but it's like us basically taking in turns to ask each other 25 random questions that none of us have like seen or prepped each other on before. And obviously, our reactions are just going to be live to the questions, and we've got to try and answer the questions. Now, for some of the questions I'm going to ask Georgina, because again, she hasn't seen them, some of them are going to involve drivers. And what I want the listeners to understand is if she picks a driver for a particular answer, she can no longer pick that driver again for the rest of the questions that I have lined up in this series, the 25 questions I have for her. So she has to be very strategic about who she picks. Because if she picks Lewis on like question one, she can't pick Lewis for the other 24 questions. And that's how I've gone about this week's episode. Just spice it up, of course. And I'm sure that, she's probably
That's
got
very
some
tricky. Because I'll
of
be like
course.
keeping Louise without naming it, waiting for a good question, and then you'll be ended up with questions that I never named you.
Exactly. And you never know what question's coming up next as well. So of course, like, yeah, it'll be like, ooh, should I use him now or not? So yeah. But without further ado, Georgie, because I've done the talking, I'll let you ask me the first question then.
Okay, pineapple on pizza, because we've been talking about Imola. Of course, my questions are going to be bloody nonsense, but hey.
We love it.
So, pineapple on pizza.
Right. Not to give the diplomatic answer, or not to be F1 diplomat. um, by choice, no. Like I would not like voluntarily put pineapple on pizza. But at the same time, I'm not one of these people that say, "Ew, it's disgusting. Hell no, I'm not putting like." I don't actually think it's that bad, and I could see the art of having sweet with savory. What I do want to caveat this by saying, Georgina, is, and I'll probably send you the thing as well, or we'll probably tweet it after the episode goes live. Daniel Ricciardo on Drive to Survive is eating an avocado pizza. I was just like, no, no, you cannot
Oh,
put
hell
avocado
no.
on pizza. That's just an abomination. So
Yeah.
maybe to pineapple on pizza, no to avocado and Ricardo on pizza. That's my response to that one. But how about you? Like, and that doesn't count as a question. What would you do with pineapple on pizza?
Okay, so I would rather have pineapple on pizza because I love pineapple. I mean, why not? It's very
Ooh.
tasty. It gives a very sweet flavor. Imagine you have this, like Vincenzo said, a cheese bread.
Shout out to Vincenzo as well. Bro, he was so offended. Like when we asked that question, I thought he was gonna like quit or like leave the call straight away because he sounded so kind of internally disgusted. But we had to ask him the question, so I'm glad that we did. And there's love in his heart for us still. So yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
question.
so a dough, and then there's marinara sauce, and then on top you put cheese, mozzarella, or whatever the cheese that you prefer, and then you put on
Mhm.
toppings, and all these are very savory stuff. And that pineapple can give you a very subtle sweet flavor. So it's a different thing to taste. I mean, not obviously every day, but at least once you can try it and see it's not going to kill you. But
Oh,
if you don't like it, then here's
at least you
me
tried.
telling you it's okay.
Tried, and we like triers around here. We do like people that try, so that's fair. All right, well, Georgina, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you my first question then. Question number one. I'm gonna take it easy, nice and slow on you. Um, First question to you is, what got you into F1?
Oh, that is so freaking easy.
Mhm,
All right, so here's my F1 story. My dad is a vehicle freak, to be honest. My whole family is into these motor vehicles and stuff, and my dad used to do business with vehicles as well. He had a vehicle sales place, and then he was doing business for the vehicle parts and everything related to vehicles. So
mhm,
it was very given. But I used to watch all these races, just from here and there, not very consistently. Then one time, when I was in Singapore, my friend's aunt, he bought a few tickets to F1, and she was like, hey, why don't we all go together? And then I was like, you know what, that'll be great, because I love Hamilton as a driver. So it was very
mhm.
nice for me to go and watch the race. So after I went there, I was like, okay, this is super great. And then my friend was super drunk. And my friend's aunt was drunk, and I was the only person who was watching the damn race. So that's a separate story. But I love that experience. And I started watching more races.
Mhm.
And then I was not actually active on Twitter, though I was watching races and all. But one of the good perks, I don't want to actually say there's anything good about Abu Dhabi, but one of good perks was that started becoming very active because I couldn't tolerate the injustice that happened in Abu Dhabi. Not to bringing back those things, but you
Yeah.
know, so I started tweeting all these things, and then I ended up getting all these people. I got to know you, I got to know Natsumi, I got to know Nili, and then here I am with the podcast and you.
Well, it's a legendary story, and it's amazing just how even like sports, because we do believe F1 is a sport and not just entertainment, as people like to sell us. But yeah, it can literally create huge communities, and shout out to everybody. Jonathan tunes into the podcast and gives us great reviews all the time and feedback. Nilly as well. I can't wait to interview her next week. She's
Oh, that
amazing,
is going to be
honestly.
super spicy. Trust me.
I know. Super hot, chili, 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 as Carlos Sainz says. Yeah, and there's so many different individuals that have their own unique personalities, but we all combine together to have this beautiful family. So yeah, I'm really happy to hear about your story and just like it's so cool that it came about in such an organic way for you.
All right, so let me ask you, my dear, what's
Hmm.
your least favorite food?
Oh, least favorite food. Okay. Well, firstly of all, I know people are gonna get onto me for this one, but like I've just never been a fan of onions. Like, firstly, would they make you cry? And we don't like crying on this podcast. But also just like the texture, that like crunchy texture, there's something about it. Yeah. But
Well,
yeah,
we've been having enough crying, right?
I
I
know,
mean,
right?
cry, cry,
From when
cry. You need tissue, cry. This cry and safety car deployed because of crying.
yeah, because probably Winter Spice probably crying about Lewis and his like illegal rear wing or his illegal engine or
Maybe
his
they had
illegal
got the wrong
talents.
onion.
or something illegal because everything Lewis does is illegal apparently. So yeah, of course, we don't like that. So yeah, onions I don't love. If I see them in a burger or anything like that, I just pick them out.
What
But then
about
yeah,
those deep fried onions? Onion rings, right? Yeah, onion rings.
yeah, just like the only thing I think I like is like cheese and onion crisp. I think because it's not like an actual onion, it's just flavored like of onions that I put in there. So yeah, like onions, and then also I'm just not like a massive guy on like fish either. Like tuna and stuff like that, meh. But then like the more kind of basic stuff like salmon, cod, I don't really mind. So yeah, I would pretty much say those for foods that I'm not like a huge fan of. But again, just like whilst we're at it, like what foods don't you like by chance?
Wow, when it comes to me, okay, so I don't eat meat.
Hmm.
What I don't actually know. I can't actually think about least favorite food right now. Bloody hell, what's wrong with me? I love garlic. I love garlic.
Oh, garlic's amazing.
Yeah, so that's not the least favorite food. I think I'm drunk.
Oh, we haven't
You
even
don't
got the
even
drink
drink
side.
it.
Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go to question two then. So to give you a bit of context in this one, Georgina, in the
Mm-hmm.
UK, we had a very famous TV program on BBC called Snog, Marry and Avoid, and it was like these women or men, they would like see like no, you'd have these contestants, and then the host would take a picture or a video of this person and then go out in the public and show the video or show the picture to the public, and then the public will be like, "Ooh, I want to like kiss this person. I want to like marry this person. I just want to avoid this person." And the premise of the show was is that if like the person said like marry or like kiss, then that member of public would then like arrange a date with like the contestant, and then they would follow the kind of relationship from there. So that was Snug Marry and Avoid. But I have a remix called Taxi Date and Avoid. So, Georgina, you wake up in the morning and you have to jump in a taxi because you're going to go on a date. But on your way to the date, to the table, there's a driver you have to avoid. So, I want you to pick a driver that you want as your taxi driver. I want you to pick a driver that you want to have as your date. I want you to pick a driver that you just want to absolutely avoid at all costs. And as I said earlier with the rules, once you pick this driver, they're locked in. You can't select or use them again for any other answers for the other 24 or 3 I have remaining.
I think I'm already joking.
You're thinking of who you're going to avoid.
All right. For the taxi. When you said taxi, I was actually thinking about people who don't crash during a
So, not Latifi then.
not definitely not Latifi. Okay. Taxi. It's going to be Oscar Piastri.
Ooh. Actually, no,
Mm.
Georgina. No, you can't pick him. One, because I have another question about him, and two, technically he's not on the grid at the moment. So
Well, the
I'm not
unfortunate one. Okay, bloody hell. All right.
so you can't use him.
This is impossible. Okay, who's the guy with the less capacity of crashes, less damages? Okay, I'll
Well,
pick.
I was gonna say the smooth operator, but yeah, he didn't do me justice. Hit him a lot, so I don't know if you want to pick him for that one.
Yeah, no. All right. Oh, wait. I choose for the taxi is Checo.
Smart,
Yeah. All
smart.
right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
And
Got
the
Checo
driver
inside there.
that I want to avoid at all cost is Latifi.
Okay, Latifi for avoid. Okay, makes
Honey,
sense.
I don't need any crashes on my way to a date, for God's sake.
Okay, so Latifi's out of the picture, and the driver you want to date. And bear in mind, you pick this driver, you cannot use them for the rest
Yeah,
of the
I know
show.
why you're saying that. I know why you're saying that. You know that I would pick Louis, but
Uh,
I can't pick Louis because
yeah.
I don't know which one is going to be next.
Well,
Bloody
maybe you
hell.
can, but you just can't use them again for the rest of the show. And that's just the beauty of how I put these questions. Evil
Okay,
love.
talking myself to death, I will pick Louis.
Okay, so she has picked Lewis Hamilton as her date. She cannot refer to Lewis, use Lewis at any other point in this episode. So
Bye
is
bye,
that if I
Louis. See you tomorrow.
Aw. But that would be an amazing date, though. Imagine going on a date with Lewis Hamilton. Literally, actually, let me know because this is a very family-friendly show, and yeah,
You know
I've
what I
seen.
would be asking? Even if it was a date, you know what I would be asking?
What would you ask him?
Mr. Hamilton, will you be interested in joining our podcast?
Yes, Jorgina, I love the shameless plugging. Do it. And the thing is, well, you can't say no, can you? If you're on a date with him and he's there sitting across from the table from you and you ask him to be a part of the podcast, what's he gonna say? No. He could never say that, not to your face. So, yeah, I think you got him right where we need him. That's perfect. All right, Georgina. Well, that's question two. So I've written them down. So just in case you try and be sneaky, you can't use them again. But yeah, okay, I'll hand it back to you.
Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. All right. Question number three, Mr. Man. If
Mhm.
you get a chance to create a secret society, what would you name it as, and what kind of society would it be?
Hmm.
Ta-da!
That's a deep question because I can't even lie. Like, I feel like I'm quite an introverted individual anyway, and I wouldn't say secretive, but I'm just quiet
Wait.
and like
Who is introvert?
I would say me. Like,
Oh, really?
besides obviously our amazing
Very funny.
listeners and like all the people, like people don't realize I'm actually quite introverted. So yeah, like secret society kind of sounds a bit like me to be honest. But yeah, like what I would call it, I might call it the secret sauce nation. I think that's what I
What
might
are you?
call it.
What are you making a chili sauce or something?
Nah, like, I'm moving like KFC. You know what the KFC recipe, like the five spices or however many spices they make the shit out of these days. They don't know like what is actually in the thing. So yeah, I'm gonna nod KFC and say the secret sauce society. And it's like a triple S as well. So that's cool. And then what would the society be about?
You're the
Hmm,
worst guy to come up with abbreviations.
I know,
SPD for
right?
God's sake.
Listen, that was a bad day, okay? I'm allowed to have those. But
Join us
no.
with STD. Oh my God, it's not transmission sexual disease.
Listen, kids, make sure you go and get tested. That's what I have to say.
Be
Yeah,
safe when you're doing something. Be safe, kids.
be
Remember
safe.
that.
Always wear your helmet. but
And
yeah,
make sure the helmet is not not broken. There's no holes.
there's no cracks or rips in the helmet. Oh gosh, right. Yeah, what the society would be about? Man, it'd just be dope. It'd just be a universe of cool people like you, Neely, and the entire universe of awesome people in Team LH, just doing cool Team LH stuff. You'd have like cool artists that do art stuff. You'd have cool podcasters and presenters like you doing like presenting and podcast stuff. You just have weird people like me that somehow managed to just make a living just being me, you know? And then yeah, just like I think it'd just be just like it literally just be the whole of Team LH. So yeah, that would be my secret society.
Ooh, okay. You hit me with your question.
Okay, awesome. This one here is a banger. I was on the train. I was like, oh gosh, she's gonna be thinking about this one for 5 million years. So here's my question for you. So, would you rather, Georgie, listen to Helmut Marko speak to you every single morning,
Or
or
rather kill myself?
or have to do a shoey and drink out of Ricardo's shoe champagne from a race winning boot that he's just worn for 60 laps.
Okay, honey, I'll go with Marco. I can listen to the old man, but not the shoe Jesus Christ.
Wow! I thought you were gonna pick the shoey. I thought you were gonna pick the shoey. Oh man, are you sure? Helmet marker, the grumpy guy that just like he's
Mhm. I can
just
handle
like
grumpy. I can't handle stinky shoes.
with toe jams and stuff inside. You won't be putting the toe jams on your pizza, I imagine, right?
Jesus Christ. All right, my question to you.
Cool.
You're right. I'm gonna think about that for 5 million years.
Yeah, honestly, I thought you were gonna be like scarred for life after I asked you that question.
All right, the question. Here we go. In one sentence, how would you sum up F1 Twitter.
Mm, mm, It depends on what day I wake up on, because one day it's toxic,
And
one
the other
day,
day is very, very toxic.
yeah, it's very toxic. No, like, it's sad because I don't want to give the trolls any kind of attention, and I want to just try and stay as positive as I can. So I would call F1 Twitter, the group of people that we follow. So the amazing people like Bryson, the angry engineer, obviously, Mode 11, Engine Mode 11, Denny, shout out Denny, Ari, those guys. I would say insightful. Like, whenever you speak to those guys or you have interactions with them, like, it always feels that you leave with more than you came with, which I think is just the lovely side, the side that should get more attention and more props within F1 Twitter space. I'm gonna say, yeah, insightful. But how about you? What would you pick as your one word to describe F1 Twitter?
Mm, it's the virtual world of the real world. That's what
Mm,
it is. I
true.
mean, it's like the real world itself, except that we are behind phones and online stuff. But the same way that you get the toxicity, you get a really good audience, a really good people. You get to meet amazing people with amazing knowledge and different personalities, different characteristics. So it's like you're getting involved in the real world as well, just virtually.
That's true. That's true. And I think, like you said as well, although we don't like the negative stuff, it's like that in real life too. There are people that don't like you because of the way you look, the way you sound, where you're from. And you see all of that on Twitter, probably in a more hyper globic state because people can hide behind phones and, kind of troll at will and stuff like that too. So it pretty much is the virtual real world to some extent, and it's good in the way that we managed to get real life people on with real life experiences, and even amongst like the bull crap, we do get some people with some good stories, some good life experiences, and just generally great advice as well. Even with Brad, it was very inspirational the other day when he's telling us about his come up as a racing driver, and even this stuff he does as like a driver coach, just to better himself, number one, but two, so he can kind of like continue to fund his career, which I think is amazing. So yeah.
That
Good
was
question.
very inspirational, actually. His story is very inspirational. I was like very surprised regarding his journey. Wow, that is
Yeah,
way behind. Yeah.
absolutely, because again, he's not your typical kind of like money is no object. My dad owns a Formula One team driver. Just like, he's really had to like earn it from the muscle. And what resonated with me was like like before you even look at getting sponsors, you have to learn to get good at what you do. And I think
Yeah.
that's if everybody focused on that, the world would probably just be a better place. But here's my optimistic thinking. So yeah, okay. I'll segue into my next question. So question number 4 for you, and this it's a very specific question because I'm gonna
Hmm.
caveat it with the next one. If you had to go on a hot lap, like in like a little nice McLaren 720S or Ferrari 488 around any circuit in the world, so this is just a circuit. What circuit would you want to have a ride in?
Jeddah.
Ooh, you're living life dangerously, Georgina. Jeez. Okay, I
Yeah,
think I'd be
I,
holding on
I
to
would
their life.
I would choose Jeddah because first of all, I don't like boring tracks, all right?
Mhm.
And second of all, I actually loved the way Luis was able to handle Jeddah track last year. And this Jeddah track is very new, but it can be only handled by very, very well experienced drivers. And it's really a good track, a street racing track, but yes, but it gives you a challenge to drive. So yeah, I would choose that.
Nice. Okay. Well, don't go anywhere because I've got another segue follow-up question to that one, but I'll let you get your fourth one or fifth one in now as well.
Fifth one, honey, fifth one. It's coming
All
right
right.
up now.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
All right.
whoop, whoop.
If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would you call it?
I actually like peanut butter, Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Wait, oh, I'm not gonna sing that. But like, because that's the thing. Like, it's not quite like butter is like butter, but then like it's made from peanut and it's like a kind of spread of like peanuts. So
What are you
I
going to
don't
call
know.
it? Spread nut?
I don't know. I would call it like, I don't know, nut jam. Although that sounds very, very kinky. And just again, this is a family-friendly show, so I said it innocently. But I'd call it
Nut
nut
jam.
jam. That sounds so wrong. What'd you call it?
Yeah, he meant that, when Denzel said it's not jam, it gives you the vibe of, a crazy person, not the other way around. Don't misunderstand, all right, guys? All
I
right, you
said
read your
nothing. I'm
question.
innocent.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
So
very such a baby. He's really an innocent guy. He's like the infant when it comes to the innocency levels.
exactly. I'm innocent, man. I wouldn't touch a fly. But yeah. Okay. So on to the next question. So question number 5 for me to you. Okay, so you've picked Jeddah as your hot lap circuit. Which driver would you have you go around in a hot lap in like a sports car? And bear in mind now, you can't pick Checo, can't
Done
pick
it,
Lewis,
man.
and obviously you wouldn't want to pick Latifi anyway. So yeah, who'd you pick as your driver for this hot lap around Jeddah?
George Russell.
Nice, smart thinking, smart. I rate that. Again, George looks like he's a bit cheeky, you know. It looks like he'd have like the back end of the car dancing around every single corner, like making you like crap your pants to an extent.
Yeah, but the guy is very talented. I mean, he handled Mercedes last year very well. Remember that one race that he had to go instead of Luis when he had Corona?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's there. And the way that he's performing with this car also, it's remarkable. I mean, when it comes to Charles, not to undermine him, but he's really good. He is really good with the talent and everything, but he has a good car as well. But George is fighting on top with a wheelbarrow. So the guy is
true,
talented. Yeah.
true. Can't take it away from him. It's facts.
See, I fight with facts, man. I fight with bloody facts.
Oh yeah.
All right, my question to you. You get to be a racer for F1 and GT. Which one would you choose and why?
Whoo! There's fantasy and then there's reality because I myself probably nowhere near good enough to be a Formula One driver, just like with the physical demands it requires. But then that's like
You
a
never know.
dream. Like
You never know.
everybody, this
You
is the
can't be.
thing. Like
Come on, for God's sake, man. You just said optimism. Where the hell did that go?
I know, I know. All right, well, let's go to positive energy then. Like in fantasy, I would definitely say Formula One because how cool would it be to say that I drove Lewis Hamilton's car, I drove Michael Schumacher's car, I drove like a legendary Formula One car. That'd be crazy. But then having said that, I like GT3 cars too because even for sim racing, like noobs like me, like essentially with the GT3 cars, they essentially are just like normal road cars that have been like adapted to be sports cars. So, let's say for example you love like an AMG GT3 car, you could buy something similar at the Mercedes dealership, and as long as you have that Lawrence Stroll money, you could just get like optioned out in whatever color you want, and you could have that car and drive it whenever you wanted. Whereas with a Formula One car, Jesus Christ, just to even get the thing started, you need like 11 mechanics. you need like the whole of Team LH there, like to will you on to like be brave enough. Like you probably need Toto there, just like with the angry German Austrian face, just there, like do
with,
not
a,
crash this
with a
car.
crashing headphone.
Exactly, with poor Bose headphones. Rest in peace, those Bose headphones. Shout out Bose though, give us a sponsor. But yeah, just like that's a great question. But I think fantasy, Formula One, real life, probably GT3 because I could probably drive one of those things decently well without spinning it. So yeah, but how about you? What would you pick?
The guy just, the guy who's interviewing me right now, he said that I was cheeky and sneaky, but look at the way he answered that question. Huh?
Hey, well, little kind of little Red Bull tactics underneath the table and that.
All right, for me, I will choose GT because F1 cars, honey, no way.
Yeah, they're scary. They're very scary, and just the way
Yeah.
even you look at these this year's cars, and you see the way that like Carlos Sainz's head's bouncing up and down in the car, like he's listening to Metallica. Or Russell's even saying that he's suffering from spine-ish injuries, which is
And chest
quite
issues,
concerning.
yeah.
Yeah, so like
I mean,
you'd have
if it was regarding the golden ages, it's just a physically demanding car. But nowadays, it's very mentally demanding car. And trust me, I'm the clumsiest person ever.
me too. Me too. Like I probably like slap the front wing on the side of the pit lane entry, or a
Exactly.
poor mechanic will probably be running for his life that I don't run him over or something.
All
So
right, hit
yeah,
me with
okay,
your question.
cool. Number 6 for me. So Georgina, like there's a race at, let's say, okay, Abu Dhabi, final race of the season, championship decider, whatever. Lewis Hamilton wins the race, and I don't know, Yuki Tsunoda finishes second, and Pierre Gasly finishes third in a very crazy alternative universe that could so totally happen. Which celebrity would you pick to hand out the podium trophies?
Um, Rather than a celebrity, I would actually get a young kid from
Oh,
the underprivileged, sorry, on the privileged side to hand over the trophy. Because rather than having a celebrity, I think that kid can have a hope and a dream to go beyond imagination with that chance.
I like that one. That's so cute. And it's out of the boxes. I was expecting you to say, "Oh, I pick, I don't know, like Will Smith." Well, probably not now, but
To slap somebody, is
yeah.
Verstappen
Oh
one?
gosh, slap Max Verstappen or slap Christian Horner anytime he says something stupid, which is quite often. But yeah, but no, that was really that's really cute. And I agree with you. Like if a child had a moment to hand out the trophies, they would live like with that for the rest of their lives, and you would hope that that would inspire them to then go on and take school seriously, study hard, and one day maybe be one of the mechanics accepting one of the trophies too. So I like that answer. That's probably one of your best. You come up with amazing answers, but I think that was really, yeah. For all the kids listening out there, I hope you heard that. That was awesome. Okay, I'll let you go for number
All
7.
right, number 7. If you could invite three people to dinner, living or dead, right? So you can choose anybody. Who would you invite? Three people.
Ooh, living and dead. Okay, I would pick Lewis Hamilton, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick. Tupac would be a really interesting character. I think. Could you imagine Tupac and Lewis Hamilton at the same table? That'd be crazy. But yeah, I
Honey,
pick
you need
Tupac.
earbuds.
I know, right? Honestly, though, like because Lewis is quite musically minded as well. Could you imagine Tupac and Lewis Hamilton in the studio
Imagine
together?
both of them side to side. You're in the middle, and both of them are rapping, yapping. Good God, man, you need earbuds.
Ah, that yeah, so somebody needs to just like draw like a picture of that like happen. That's just like beyond like life. Like that's just the sort of stuff you'd expect to probably see in heaven. So yeah. And
The
then
third
the third,
person.
let me think. Ooh. I probably should pick like a athlete or somebody different. Who would I pick? Who would I pick? Who would I pick? That's a tough one, because that's the thing. I'm probably gonna think, why did you say that for the third person? You should have picked so and so. But who's inspired me when I was a kid, or who was like a big person when I was growing up? I don't want to pick another musician either, because like I could just pick loads of musicians that didn't get to like live like as long as they did. I'm gonna say Jimi Hendrix. Free
Ooh.
revolutionary like black people like Lewis Hamilton, Tupac, and Jimi Hendrix. That would be an awesome dinner, and like they're all very creative-minded people as well. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
really cool.
true. All right, hit me with your question.
Okay, going with
Hit
a
me with
very
your
short,
best
snappy one.
shot.
Oh, don't worry, honey. I got loads of interesting ones saved up. I'm saving the best till last. I'm getting the basic ones out first. So, number 7, uh, your favorite livery this year? What is your favorite livery?
Performance wise or the look?
Looks.
Gotta say, I love Aston Martin, honey.
Ooh, put up in the Aston Martin, dog. There's a song that goes that way. It's really cool.
It's
But yeah,
pretty.
it is. It's just a shame that the cars and like the flipping box it's just there. But I say that Sebastian get points this week?
I mean, Williams, they keep on losing paint. It's just becoming black and black and blacker. And
True. They're trying to copy last year's
McLaren,
Mercedes.
yeah. I mean, McLaren, well, no. And
Mm.
Ferrari, I like the red one, but this one, it looks like, after I saw that Magdal uniform t-shirts.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh
I can't
no!
get that out of my mind. I can't. So Red Bull is Red Bull as usual. So I mean, same, but different. There's nothing different. So I don't want that. AlphaTauri, same thing. So yeah, Aston Martin. I mean, our Silver Arrow is nice, but as for Aston Martin, that's a beauty, sweetheart. That's a beauty.
Yep, I'll give you that. Fair enough. Fair play. Fair play. Good choice. Okay,
What's your
go
choice, though?
next. Ooh, favorite livery? Nom, 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 nom. Yum, nom, 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 nom. Well, I'm glad that Mercedes didn't make the car black because yeah, I'd be very annoyed with
If
the
it was
W13.
that, then I would have chosen that because that's so freaking pretty. Come on.
Yeah, it's like a legendary color scheme, but because W13 so naughty at the moment and it won't behave, like I'm kind of glad that they just went back to the silver scheme because at least the
Yeah.
black livery would be known for being like the very quick cars. So yeah, but favorite livery if I had to take Mercedes biased out of it, and you already said Aston Martin, so I'll be different.
All right. So
Hmm.
the eighth question is actually from a Twitter fan by
Okay.
Farino_10.
Hey,
All right.
my guy Farino, my guy.
Here's the question: fantasy car and driver pairing. So, one car in the history of F1 and two drivers in those cars. Who are you going with?
Hmm. Ah, it's gonna be easy. I'm gonna pick the 2020 W11
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes, of course.
I knew that you
Uh,
would do that.
of course, she's just a darling. I love the W11. One day I have to go to the museum and take pictures of her and send it to you. I'll probably lie. I'd literally probably like stop everything I was doing just so I could video call you next to that car because this means so much to me. So yeah, probably the W11 in terms of like car, and then dream pairing. Oh, I would have loved to see Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher in the same team. That would have been
Oh.
fiery because like you hear all these stories about how like Michael used to play a lot of mind games and you try and like rally all the mechanics on his side, but then obviously Lewis is just amazing, super intelligent driver, again like obviously a bit younger than Michael as well, so probably a bit more up to speed with the hybrid systems and how to deploy the energy and when to use overtake, and more familiar with the Pirelli tires as well. Yeah, I'd love to see two, well, 7/8-ish world champions going head to head in the same team. That would have been cold. But who would you pick as like car
And we would have
and
put
driver
the
pairing?
argument also to the rest as well if that would have been possible.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, hit me with your question.
Okay, I'm just gonna go again for easy one, and it's opposite of my previous one. Worst livery.
I just told you about Williams.
Yeah, but all right, I'll elaborate. Because to be honest, like I don't think the Williams is the worst. I think Alpine maybe might get some flack.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the worst one. Yes, I go with that.
Mm, mm, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I'm
that's
a
like cotton candy, but not cotton candy. Like,
cotton candy. Oh man, it's true though, because it's got like the bubblegum flavor and then like the strawberry flavor like merged as well, not
yeah,
bubblegum.
but not giving
Oh.
that flavor at all. Like, failing. So, yeah.
Fair point. Okay, well that was question 8 for me. So yeah, you go with your
All
next
right.
one.
Okay. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
Ooh. probably nicked one of Lewis Hamilton's like cars. I know you can't just jumpstart them like that, but if I could like if I could go to like Brackley, if I could go to what's it called, Milton Keynes, and just like I don't know, put like Lewis Hamilton's car in my pocket. I so totally would. So yeah, probably be I don't know, probably be either for that or sometimes I could be a bit adventurous with my driving on the road too. But I'm a safe driver for the most time. But yeah, like I do like a bit of speed on the motorway. So yeah, the police probably pull over and like say, "Hey, slow down, man. Who do you think you are, Sterling Moss?" As you was discussing earlier today as well.
No,
So
I'm DENZ Clarkson.
yeah, of course, man. Don't you know who I am? I am amazing kind of like podcast called Stripping the Dipping. You should so totally, sign up and subscribe, before you arrest me or give me any sort of penalty. So yeah, and then I'll probably call Malik as my lawyer and be like, Malik, please, please. They're trying to keep me arrested. Please, like save me. And then Malik will probably like yeah, you probably just film me and put it on World Star Hip Hop or something like that. People be laughing at my expense. So yeah, that'll probably
Malik
be my story.
probably would say, "No, sir, you're on your own now."
Exactly. You're a big guy, get it sorted. So yeah, but how about you, George? Like if you were to get arrested by the police, what would you get arrested for, and how would your family react?
Yeah, my friends and family definitely will think that I didn't pay for something because I always I always forget things.
Oh gosh, no.
Imagine
Oh
me
god.
eating and then walking around like
Yep.
with nothing.
Like pay? What's that? I don't know what you mean.
So
Oh,
he
okay.
breathes your fashion.
Yeah, okay. So question number 9, right on time. Cool. So, at the beginning of the race, we often have like the national anthems being sang, by, like a band or school kids or maybe a celebrity. If there was one celebrity, or not celebrity, singer or band that had to perform every single national anthem of every single race we attended, which group, band, or artist would you have perform the national anthem?
Adele.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a banger. That's a banger.
Yeah.
That is a banger. But I would cry. I think I would cry. Like I think she'd just make me too. I think the drivers would be crying.
Yeah, definitely she'll be crying. She'll be crying as well.
Probably the whole, like literally the race will start on intermediate tires just because everybody will be crying so much will flood the circuit. But let me caveat that question then. If you had to
Okay.
pick an artist that's no longer alive today to sing the national anthems for every single race, which artist would you pick?
Whitney Houston.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. I was even gonna just try and do one of her lyrics, but yeah, I can't disrespect her like that. She's just like gold. She's just amazing, and it's sad that we lost her because she's just so talented. So yeah, okay, all right. That's number
Okay.
9 from me then. I'll hand over
All
to
right.
you.
Your guilty pleasure.
Ooh, guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. I would say guilty pleasure. I think recently, this is something like it's gonna sound super nerdy. Jorgina and the rest of obviously the stripping the dipping nation as well. I started collecting like these mini replica F1 cars because like I don't know what it is. Just like I was like, obviously I'm into F1, but other than my sim rig and like one or two posters I have, like I don't have like anything that's like Formula One orientated. So I was like, how cool would it be if I was trying to collect every single car from the 2021 season as like a 143 scale and have them on my desk? So yeah, like one of my guilty pleasures is just collecting like mini replica cars from like certain periods of time or certain achievements. So yeah, I have Lewis Hamilton's first Mercedes AMG car with Mercedes, from like 20, I think it was 13 on my desk. I have like a mini replica of Lewis Hamilton's first podium in 2007. I have Daniel Ricciardo, I think it is. Yeah, at Monaco from last year. I've got a mini replica of Esteban Ocon from Hungary last year with a little pitboard that says Ocon P1. So I know like a lot of people be like, man, you're a nerd. But like to me it's just super cool. And then to caveat that as well, like the value of them goes up because they're like limited edition. There's like a 2007 Lewis Hamilton, no, 2008 Lewis Hamilton one I collected, or not collected, I want to collect. And it's like bloody £800.
No kidding.
And it's the size of like a Hot Wheels car, but because it's like a really collectible item and only like 100 of them were made, it's super rare. And obviously that was Lewis's first championship, and Lewis is like the GOAT. So you could understand why something like that it would hold like a lot of value, and it's obviously gone up and up and up over the years. So yeah, that's like a guilty pleasure because I've always said to myself, whenever I do get a girlfriend, and this is not me advertising myself, but whenever I do have a girlfriend and I have to bring them back to like my place, like how are they gonna react when they see all these flipping mini replicas of Formula One cars on my like desk? Are they gonna appreciate it or are they gonna be like, dude, this guy needs to get a life?
Either you get a girl who understands Formula One or get a girl with good, better understanding of yourself.
Yeah, yeah. One of the two would be nice, but both would be preferable, of course. But yeah, how about you, Georgina? Like, what would you say is your like guilty pleasure? Other than
Well, yeah.
winding me up or teasing me, because you do that a lot.
All right. That was for you listeners. That was Denzel's open invitation, saying that he's every bit of single and ready to mingle. So if there's anybody, please let us know. And our
Taking in them
guilty pleasure,
applications, boy.
my guilty pleasure. Actually, this is okay. Um, automatically, I don't like to eat very heavy stuff, like stuff that makes you fat. A lot of cheese in it, a lot of oil in it, and stuff. But
Mhm.
once in a while, I do eat. To
Me
screw with
too.
the yeah to screw with the stuff. If the food comes popping in front of me, then I will bloody hell within a second I will eat. So that's my guilty pleasure. Actually, there's this food called kottu in Sri Lanka. That's a food that we have in Sri Lanka, but it has cheese in it, it has milk in it, it has carbs in it. It's a bloody heavy meal, actually, to be honest. So there's my guilty pleasure, people.
Ah, that sounds wonderful, Georgina. I hope that you can make some for me one day, because I will
Ooh,
literally
definitely, definitely,
fly there now.
definitely. You almost flew once.
Yeah, I fly for many reasons, but yeah, that would be one of the main ones, of course. So yeah,
All
okay.
right.
Question number 10 for me to you. So give us a time, Georgina, where F1 has left you feeling heartbroken. And no, you can't refer to Abu Dhabi 2021 for obvious reasons.
Darn it.
That would have been the easiest one, I know.
Um, F, honey, first of all, F1 leave a lot of people heartbroken. All
That's
right.
true. It does. It does.
Okay. Um, heartbroken. F1. Well, I was heartbroken. Well, when it comes to Abu Dhabi, actually nothing can top that. All right.
Mhm.
So that's number one. But since I can't name that, what? I was hard. I felt very sad when Sir Frank Williams died. Williams died. So there's that.
Aw.
And then I felt very bad after listening to Nigel Mansell's podcast, hearing all the politics and all the the cutthroat, double standard things that he went through. And by
Mhm.
the way, whoever listening to this podcast, Nigel Mansell is missing the Monaco Rolex podium accessory that he's supposed to get, but somebody stole it. So please hand it over,
Wow.
people. Please bloody hand it over. And then, when Sir Sterling Moss passed away, that was a sad one as well. There are a
Aw.
lot, but when it comes to F1, FIA, and the regulations and the sporting side, when it comes to that, then um, like I said, Abu Dhabi is there, but I can say this is heartbroken. Oscar Piastri, the
Yeah, that's a
way
good
that
shout.
they're handling, yeah, the way they're handling these paid drivers versus the kids with the talent who
Mhm.
actually won the damn races. Because Oscar Piastri is there with being the champion and no seat in F1. So that is very heartbreaking, actually.
Mhm. Yeah, I would say you picked a good range there as well on the sporting side and just, in terms of the history of the sport as well. I definitely agree with you on those.
What's your pick, though?
Ooh,
That was
obviously
a tough question, to be honest, because I was like, Abu Dhabi. And then he was like, no, no, Abu Dhabi.
I know you too well, Georgina. I was like, yeah, I'm not asked this question, but I know I can't include it Abu Dhabi because it's just too recent, and yeah, like it's the obvious one. But yeah, for
Oh,
me,
wait. Can I change the answer, please?
yeah, of course you can.
All right, because trust me, Denzel knows that I'm a clumsy person, so sometimes my brain clicks way after the show ends. So my pick, when F1 left heartbroken, is whenever Luis is facing racial abuses and they never speak up for that.
Yep, 100% facts. That is just heartbreaking, just on a different level, because it's like you don't choose your skin color. That's the way you are born into the world just naturally, and for people to take
And
that
it's
as a card,
pretty.
that's the thing as well. Like he's a very handsome guy, and yeah, it just goes to show that people are just jealous and bitter, and like yeah, they just don't have what Lewis has. They don't have the sauce, but yeah, like it is disheartening because as much as Lewis tries to do the positive love and light thing, and he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, guys, it doesn't affect me. I just get on with it. Yeah, like I don't think about it when I'm winning." Like we all deep down, would be affected by stuff like that. And even if you have a tough skin at some stage, it does affect you. So yeah, that is definitely heartbreaking. Good shout out there too. And then you asked me like what my heartbreaking moment was. Agree with all the ones you suggested so far, and probably just to be a bit different, one I picked was when Michael Schumacher announced his first retirement. It was 2006, so I was 11 years old, and I just remember Michael
Oh,
just like a little
kitty
like
boy.
mini Dens, 11-year-old Dens, and like this Michael just being like, "Yeah, guys, it's been good, but I'm leaving." And like Michael was and is Ferrari. Like that was just like like I was studying like will I even watch Formula One afterwards? And obviously I guess what was kind of good is I think obviously Michael left in 2006, Lewis came along in 2007, but I never liked McLaren because obviously Michael Schumacher's biggest competitors for most of his years was McLaren, when he was
Yeah.
against Mika Hakkinen. So even though I love Lewis, I didn't love the team he was in, and I was very kind of skeptical of Ron Dennis, which we could have our own episode on Ron Dennis and maybe the good he's done for Formula One and McLaren, and maybe the bad he's done for McLaren and Formula One generally. But yeah, yeah, Lewis, not Lewis, sorry. Oh, I don't even want to think about Lewis retiring. I think I will need from you, Georgina, like a lifetime supply of Ben and Jerry's ice cream so I can eat my sorrows away when Lewis
To
retires.
go
Like
through
that,
that pain, yes, I will need a
yeah,
contract from them as well.
yeah. I think it's very well needed. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. But anyway, I'll pass over to you for number 11.
All right, so this is the question I was dying to ask you.
Okay.
Are you ready for this, man?
Oh yeah, bring it on.
Are you sure that you're ready for this, man?
I'm ready like my uncle Eddie. Let's go.
And let me put my evil laugh. Okay. Here we go. Which would you prefer to have as your roommate, Max Verstappen or Fernando Alonso? You're welcome.
Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. So two angry guys, two impatient guys, two guys that have like racist well, and again I'm gonna caveat it. It's not all, but some racist fans in their like their camps as well.
And
Whew.
one has a habit of holding on to grudges and go for Christmas parties and Christmas dinners and blabber about that rather than eating the food.
True. Yep. 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 And I know you're speaking about there as well. Like, that's a tricky one because like the rivalry with Max is obviously more recent. But then having said that as well, Fernando Alonso completely killed my childhood when he beat Michael, in 2005 and 6, and I'd never forgiven him since. So I don't know. Like I think you see the issue, and I had this discussion with one of my good friends, Michelle, was sometimes I like although Max is not that commercially marketable, we get that. Sometimes I just think he's a kid that's in a bad environment. Like it's
Yeah,
not so much him, it's his entourage, it's his
yeah.
dad, it's Red Bull's PR that kind of makes whatever he does 10 times worse than he is. Like And yeah, just like, at times he could be a bit cold, he can be a bit kind of like unforgiving or uncompromising. We saw that in Monza, when he parked on Lewis's head and then was like, "Yep, can't park there, sir," and he just walked off. Like, we've seen that from him, but at the same time as well, I think he's still young. Obviously, he's still developing as a young man. And had like if Verstappen was in McLaren and grew up in the McLaren like family, or grew up in the Mercedes family, I think he'd be a completely different driver, and I think he'd be more likable.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think I'd pick Max, my roommate. That, and probably also because he's quite known for sim racing. So I could just use it as an opportunity to just slap him up in the simulator and then brag about it online. Anytime I get any victory over him, I would plaster that shit on the internet. So yeah, I just pick Max because I think we're quite similar in age, and just, yeah, like, I think with Fernando Alonso, you'd have a lot of nostalgic things to dwell on, but then
No,
afterwards, that'd be it.
you're actually justifying choosing Max because you just chose Max because you hate Fernando Alonso for ruining your childhood.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like, I wouldn't say I hate Fernando, but it's just, yeah, that guy ruined my childhood. Like, when Fernando Alonso beat Michael Schumacher 2 times, I went from a boy to just like, yeah, just being dense. Yeah, just being dense. Just every single bit of my childhood. Yeah, he just took that away from me. So yeah, and like I said, just like Alonso's cool. You'd get a lot of nostalgic talks with him and stuff, but I
Yeah,
think
well,
after that.
then Luis came and you became AMG DENZ.
Oh yeah, that's when the sauce came back, when, like, Lewis turned Fernando into paella rice. That was sensational. So yeah, that's what restored my faith, and it was almost like Lewis getting retribution from Michael for all those years. And then it's funny that obviously Lewis then replaced Michael at Mercedes too. So there's always been a synergy between Lewis and Michael, and it always saddens me when I see people like trying to put one over the other, because obviously Lewis is statistically, like, better and achieve more than Michael, but they both should be in the discussion for, like, the most amazing drivers of their times. So yeah, that's my answer. But good question, because honestly, going back to my whole taxi date and avoid, I would be avoiding those guys with the 10-foot pole. So yeah.
All right, tell me your question.
Okay, so number 11. Which driver on the grid has the best hairstyle?
I mean, oh bloody hell, I can't choose him, right?
Oh yeah, no, you
Um,
can't, because you already picked him. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, because I completely forgot about that rule. But yeah.
oh shit, I just dig my own hole. Okay. Um, good hairstyle.
I'll give you some suggestions. You got young boy Mick. Mick looks like he could be in like a boy band.
Charles,
Then you've
Charles.
then
I'll
you've got
I'll
like,
pick Charles.
ooh, Charles. Yeah, Charles has got like the short and kind of like more neat style.
Yeah,
Then
I
you,
mean he looks like a kid.
yeah, true, true. Oh, hold on, Georgie. I'm not done. Let me throw some guys in there so I could confuse you even more. Then you got Uncle Seb, Uncle Seb with the long, long hair, like,
Uncle
like,
Seb,
and
when he comes out, he looks like he got drenched in the way under the rain. So
oh man. Sometimes I look at Seb and I was like, mate, you look like a German terrorist. like he just looks like a like crazy engineer with his beard he's growing, and just, yeah, like, if Dan, like Engine Mode 11, said he was related to Sebastian Vettel with the cool beards and hair, like, I'd probably believe them. So yeah, like, okay, let me think of other drivers with cool hairstyles. Yeah, like they all kind of have conservative hair. I just came
who?
up with one. Albon with the red hair.
Bloody hell.
Albon, no, with the red hair.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Nah, I
in
can't
a
say
way.
that's a no.
That's totally giving Red Bull vibes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, fair enough. We'll go with Leclerc on that one. I'm gonna make a note of that too. Thank you for reminding me of my own rules, because I was moving like Michael Massey there.
See, I
I was
don't
almost not
cheat.
gonna apply
I'm not from Red Bull. See, you understand me now.
Of course. Okay.
All right,
I'll
my
hand it back to you.
question. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Which one should I ask you first? Okay, let's go with the boring ones. What's the most boring sport for you?
Da, 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 da. Ooh, there's a few out there. There's a few. I want to say, this is gonna be so disrespectful because I know there's gonna be people that are interested in it, but I don't know, man. Golf, golf does nothing for me. Like, if it's crazy golf on like a date, that's pretty cool. But like, if it's just like golf, like Tiger Woods, like type golf, yeah, man, that's like some bougie shit. Nah, I just can't like get jiggy with. And I just want to think of one more that's a bit kind of just meh. Um, hmm. I want to say darts as well. You know when you throw like the arrows at the board, like darts, and the guy's like 180. Like, yeah, I just how is that even a sport? Like, yeah,
That's a sport.
yeah. The champions, like, I guess it is a sport because there's championships for it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, that's news for me.
yep,
I mean, I know
no,
that there's darts, and normally you see at a bar, hanging on the
exactly.
door and stuff like that. But wow, all right, all right, okay. Darts it is. Give me your
Yeah,
question, Denzel
okay,
Clarkson.
all right. Number 12. Pick a driver that you'd wish to see drive that you didn't get to see whilst they're at their peak. So it can't be obviously a current driver right now. Just like, I'll give you some examples. Actually, no,
Senna.
let me not give you an example. Yeah, that came to my head straight away. Is that what you're gonna stick with though?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
Oh, good answer. And I think great choice too, because again, he's just before my time as well. He literally passed away a year before I was born, which is just like so devastating and like stuff. But yeah, just like you hear like the stories about him just being like, like this awesome badass driver that had like the craziest car control and like obviously the rivalry that he had with Prost and just like he gave no quarters to anyone and even when Michael Schumacher came onto the scene, you tell Michael off. I was like, yo, this guy's a bad man. Like he's like a guy. He's like Denzel in American Gangster. Like he's just that guy. So yeah, yeah, good choice, Senna. Yeah, I'll take that.
All right. My question to you is, oh, this is very easy actually. Your least favorite color?
Ooh, least favorite color. Mm, I could either give you the controversial answer or I could give you a safe answer.
Go with the controversial one.
Man, how the whole team LH they're gonna flipping kill me. I was never such a big fan of purple.
Oh, well, that can be, yeah. I mean, neither
Like
am I, so.
Jorgy, that's a huge thing. Like we can't just that's like a bombshell. Like a Lewis Hamilton fan that doesn't like purple.
I know. You
Ooh,
and me both, man. You and me both.
ooh. So it's like that your least favorite color too?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, actually, I have a lot of colors that I don't very much prefer. It's not like least favorite, but not my favorites as well. So,
Mm,
you
mm.
know, I like blue. It's like, the color that it's like the peacock blue, like a mix of green and then blue is there. So I like
Ah,
that
okay, kind of
color,
like
but yeah,
turquoise, kind of like yeah.
more into the bluish color and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, purple, beige, those are not actually my favorite colors. So sorry, Team LH. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I know they're gonna roast us, but hey, we like yellow, and yellow is Lewis's original color, so
Yeah.
cut some slack, okay? So yeah, okay, cool.
All right, your
I'm gonna
question.
go with unlucky 13. Georgina, Ross Braun and Stefano Dominicali call you to the FIA room, which yep, lots of crazy things happen in that room. And they say to you, Georgie, if there's one rule that you could change to the FIA rule book or just to F1 generally, what rule would you change?
I will change this rule for the sprint races since they really need to have the sprint races. I would. change the grid positions and make it reverse grid.
Ah, you basically ripped out my question 20 there. God damn
Really?
it. Yeah. It's like you got a crystal ball and you could see some of my questions because that was a
You,
future
my
question.
son, I can see the future. Ask me the questions.
No, but I think that's a good point as well. And oh, actually, I guess I'll just like elaborate into that was question 20, by the way. K-Mag's number 20. Yeah, just like rather than having a sprint race, which the fastest guys end up being at the front anyway, and like just I just feel unsatisfied because it's never a full race and there's not a pit stop or there's no
Yeah,
strategy.
exactly. There's no strategy for that. It's only 21 laps. So fastest people in the front. Who's going to come behind them, man? No one.
Exactly. Like I would rather, like you said, like maybe have like like a reverse grid where like the fastest cars or constructors always have to start from the back. Or another thing I guess you could do, but I guess it would change from track to track. Like all the slow teams, you let them qualify in the morning when the conditions are cooler and obviously the lap times are faster. And then like the faster teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, you make them go out in the hot sun where the track temperatures are like less optimal, but because they have a faster car, they should ideally be able to match the times. And then you base the grid on that. So at least it gives the smaller teams a chance of actually getting pole and some points as well.
Ooh, that's actually a good idea as well. See, these people should let us work there, not them themselves.
Exactly. Oh, come on, Georgina. They don't know what they're doing. They just there. They're just there because they're there. But yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good answer. And damn it, you got my question 22. So I'm gonna have to put a green sticker on both of those questions because I'm
It's
marking
all
them
right.
off as
It's
I
all
go.
right. We can cover it up. No worries. All right. My
Okay.
question to you is, what would be the hardest thing to give up and the easiest thing to give up?
Ooh, okay. Interesting because I just came off of Lent. So that was like a period of time for those who don't know, like Lent is like the equivalent for like Catholics when you give up something for 40 days and 40 nights because it's something to do with like, Jesus kind of like being in the wilderness and abstaining from certain things. So long story short, you fast for like 40 days, 40 nights, and you give up something. And it's not just like giving up chocolate because, I imagine most people could do that with some willpower. It's giving up something that's very difficult for you to give up. So in my case, I gave up meats, I gave up dairy products. I was like completely vegan for the entire 6 weeks, and even just
Ooh,
like drinking. Just like I'm not a huge drinker anyway. Like it's just not really my thing. But a lot of like people in my law firm and like firm, they were leaving and stuff like that, and it was just like like every week they were holding leaving parties where they were drinking, and I was like, ooh, like I don't want to go because it just takes somebody saying, "Oh, do you want one?" and you're just like, "No," and then like somebody accidentally gives you, I don't know, like
yeah,
vodka mixed with Coca Cola and stuff, and you just like things. So yeah, I think easiest thing to give up will probably be alcohol. Like I think I could live without it, but
yeah.
then hardest thing to give up. Ooh, if you took away my guitar, if you took away music, if you took away the sim racing for me, I think I'd have cold turkey like symptoms. I think I'd just struggle.
All right, that was a good choice, actually, a smart choice, to be honest.
And Georgina,
Music.
what do you pick as like
Well,
your
I would give
easy
up
to give up?
alcohol as well because I actually don't drink at all, so that's an easy pick. And for the hardest one, oh man, it's going to be my guilty pleasure. Those cheesy stuff. It's very hard, but though it's hard, I can do that. So yeah, but it's going to be hard. It's temptation.
Oh.
Temptation. You're trying to battle with that. So all
You
right,
know
your
what? You know
question
how
time.
you
Yeah,
like
right,
tease
right.
me like with like all the like every week you're like, oh, you know who I've got on in this episode? I'm like, no, tell me. And then you're like, no, I'm not telling you. You know how you tease me like that, yeah? I'm gonna do the same thing with these cheesy kind of like foods that you're talking about. I got your
Yeah,
number
good luck,
now.
honey. Good luck with that.
Don't worry, I have my sources. All right, cool. Question number 14. Okay. Favorite team principal, and I already have in my mind two people that you want to say, but you have to pick one out of those two.
Um, Favorite team principal. Well, actually, when it comes to the team principal, I do have two people in
Mhm.
my mind, and I have to pick one person. I will pick Toto Wolf.
Oh, you didn't pick Uncle Gunter?
No, I was actually
Oh
having
man.
a Gunter. It's actually very fun and all, right?
Mhm.
But you will be very surprised when I say the second choice that I had in my mind.
Was it Mike Crack?
It was
I had
actually
to.
Connor. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, okay, look at
Jorgy,
in
no.
this way, not
Go
in
on.
the bias. Okay, we see him for who he is, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes for his team, he's doing every possible thing to give that win to his driver. Of course, a cheating method is never the answer. That's not okay. And he's
Mm.
actually well, I'm so sorry for saying this, but he's actually a prick. But when it comes for the team principal, he's doing his best for Max. So, and he's backing him up as well. So that's something what you can expect from team principal as well when you're driving. So that's one thing. But I picked Toto because he's the balanced one. He's not an ass
True.
like him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope that justifies my choices. Oh God, please.
No, Gunter Steiner's gonna be upset. I'm joking. No, like I think yeah, that's a sensible option. I think. Oh no, he's been getting cooked recently because he's been a bit more on the negative side. I think. At the
He's an
same
ass.
time,
I'm so sorry for saying it, but he's actually an ass. I mean, the way he behaves, it's not okay.
no, I was actually gonna speak about Toto as well. Like he as well has been getting a bit of criticism recently because like you know how
I
like
mean,
we all want like
when it comes
Lewis.
to Toto,
Mm,
well, from his point of view, he's right. He's not
mm,
giving false hopes. As a from
true.
a from a fan's point, it's very hard for us to hear those words. All right,
Mm,
but uh, we need to face the reality, and he's giving us the reality. He's not sugarcoating anything. He's telling what it is for it as it is.
mm,
So we need to accept that. And he's not sugarcoating it. He's straight away saying, these are the questions that we have, these are the issues that we have, and I don't have the key. He can't go around saying, oh, and giving false hope for the fans, because then the fans will be expecting those results on the track. And when he doesn't deliver that,
oof.
that's an issue. So
True.
he's straight away giving us what it is. So it's actually a good thing. And
Yeah.
when it comes for the sports or anything, it's all business, Denzel. To be honest, to be frank, it's all business. It always
True.
comes to the cash. So I don't see anybody as a wrong person when it comes to the business wise, because they're taking those decisions considering everything. Because when it comes to the driver as well, even for the performance, it's not just about the driver, it's about all the factory workers, all the employees who are backing there, they are having their jobs done there, everything. So that's a huge responsibility, that's a huge burden.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's true. And I think that is how I was gonna rationalize it. Thank you for explaining it too. Like, yeah, like a lot of people they are gonna get onto Toto because like people probably feel that he could do more to like at least be a bit more optimistic and give us some hope. But like you said, you also have to be realistic. People don't want to be lied to at the end of the day, and we'd rather just know what it is rather than being like like led down a goat's kind of like path and then the lamb to slaughter to speak when things don't go to plan. So yeah, I agree with you, and I think like you said, he's the most balanced out of all of them. So yeah, I put him and Andreas Seidel kind of in that bracket. So yeah, good pick. Okay, question number 15.
Yeah,
uh
so this is question number 16 to you. If you
oh,
get one superpower, what would it be?
superpower, what would it be? Ooh. I think I just fly places. I just fly. Just like, I just fly away. Like, I want to fly away. I'm joking. I'm gonna sing the rest of the
Fly,
Lenny
my
Kravitz song
child,
there.
fly away.
Like Peter Pan. But yeah, just I just think it'd be the most convenient thing because I wouldn't have to share like stinky public transport trains with people in the morning in central London. So yeah, there's that. And then yeah, I could fly and come and see you. I can go and check Nearly. I could go and just like fly to the Grand Freeze if I wanted to, without having to pay the tickets, like, and I could fly straight back. Like, yeah, having super flight would be awesome. But what would your superpower be?
Well, X-Men, right? I mean, who doesn't know? That's a dumb
Sure.
question. um, I like, since childhood, I like Storm, the way she can, she can fly at the same time she can control the weather. So that's me, man. That's me. That's my choice. I want to be Storm.
Just have like sunny days and fly everywhere.
Yeah, you give me shit and I will give you rain.
Ooh, ooh, good
So what's
choice.
your
Okay,
question?
okay. Number 15. Okay, so Georgina, you've gone. I love how I've just thrown you into every single role I can imagine. So you've been like on a date with Lewis Hamilton. Then you got to have a hot lap ride with George Russell. Then you got to be, I don't know, like a hairstylist for Charles Leclerc. And now my next question is, if you were a Netflix director and they gave you access to one driver to make a documentary about for an entire year, which driver would you pick? And
Max
bear in mind,
Verstappen.
ooh, okay.
Because that guy is running away
Interesting.
from the camera. So,
Fair point. So you'd actually be getting the exposure that he actually probably needs.
all right. My question to you is, if your hero name should be a collaboration of the last thing you ate and the color of whatever the top that you're wearing now, what would it be?
White halloumi. White halloumi. Because I'm wearing a white t-shirt and yeah, I had some sensational, tantalizingly beautiful Nando's. Some peri peri chicken, some peri peri chips, some halloumi strips, and I was stripping and dipping, as the name of the show goes. So yeah, that would, that would be the name that would be my superhero name. But how about you?
That's going to be your band name.
White halloumi. Oh man, it sounds like a Greek kind of wedding band.
Right? All right.
Oh,
Hit me with your question, man.
okay. Oh, okay. Cool. So if Daniel Ricciardo, because I picked him because he's just the most random, and sometimes I'm like, dude, like this guy can't even tie his shoelaces. Or you see like a national anthem being like sung, and you just see my guy just like in the middle of nowhere, just bopping his head to a national anthem, which that in itself is quite controversial because it's national anthem. You should just be just taking it in and just like yeah, like that should be its own episode. But cool. If Daniel Ricciardo wasn't an F1 driver, Georgie, what job do you think he would do? It's just Daniel Ricciardo.
Making YouTube videos about random pranks.
Yes, 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 yes. I see that. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'd be one of those guys, cause like he's that guy as well. He's just that annoying brother, like in a good way, of course. Where just like he's probably just like winding people up and like pulling pranks on people when they least expect them and terrorizing. Yeah, yeah. I could imagine him on like. Have you ever heard of a show called Jackass? Like it's like
Wait,
these
just
American
give me a second.
pranksters.
Just give me a second. Because my
Sure.
dog just wanted to go outside and he's jumping all over my bed. Duke, 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 come, Duke, come. Good God, the work that I have to do in the middle of the. It's not even. Well, what's the time now? Wait. Yeah, it's just 2:39 a.m. in the morning. What the hell? My dog is crazy.
Oh, he's happy. He knows this
Yeah, he
episode is
has
gonna be a
random
banger.
timing. He has random timings. Okay, go on. Continue.
Okay, yeah. No, I was just gonna say, have you ever watched a TV series called Jackass? It's like with these American pranksters that do really crazy stuff to each other, like strap fireworks to each other, or like like go into like a beehive, not wearing any protective clothes. I could imagine Daniel on one of those prank shows.
Yeah, definitely suitable for that. Yes, totally. I can see him there, right? Yeah, perfect actually, to be honest.
True.
Because he's like that character, playing pranks, randomly doing things that no one will expect a driver to do.
Bro, sometimes Georgina, I actually think Lando gets annoyed with him sometimes because it's just like
Yeah.
Lando's
Because
trying to like
Lando's,
be
yeah,
more
he's like trying to
mature.
be all these posh gentleman style side, some sort of thing that Daniel is very free spirited. So I like Daniel in that way.
True, true. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
agree as
mean,
well. It's like does his
he's
own
he's
thing
him,
really.
he's being himself. So that's what a person should see, not the artificial what are the character that you are showing, trying to show to the world. I mean,
This
it's
is
easier
exactly
if you
it.
don't have double images. It's easier.
That's true.
All right,
Ah,
my time, my turn. The
go for it.
worst lie you've said to impress someone.
Ooh. That's the thing, Joe. I don't really tell many lies because it's just one, I'm a bad liar, and two, just I'd find that it does. Yeah, people find out the truth anyway. But I think one time, okay, I've got one. I think one time, like, I must have said to my mom, "Oh, mom, I'm doing really well in like my music classes, and the teacher says that I'm like the next Jimi Hendrix." I was nowhere near that level. I just wanted her to just buy me my first electric guitar because she had spent her last like couple of I've given you the story like off air as well. Like, she took her last kind of pennies to like buy very like is the cheapest guitar that was like available in the store. And like obviously once I got into that, I then wanted to learn electric guitar because I wanted to play guitar solos like Prince or like Slash or any of these cool guitarists. So yeah, like mom was like, if you take it seriously and you do well in your music lessons, then obviously I'll buy it for you. But I wanted it sooner than later. So I was like, yeah, mom, my teacher says I'm the next Jimi Hendrix. My teacher says I'm the next Slash. My teacher says any guitarist you could say. I was just making up on the spot. My teacher says I'm
Just
the
give
next
me the
George
guitar
Benson.
now, please, mom. I'm running out of names.
Exactly, running out of musicians at this rate. So yeah, no, I eventually got my electric guitar, thank God. And yeah, just like I didn't have to keep the lie on for too long because eventually I just improved and got better at guitar anyway. So yeah. What's the worst lie that you've told, Georgina?
Wow. Huh. Um.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun.
Whatever my brother does, I tell it to my mom, and then I pretend like I haven't done anything at all. I mean, I haven't said anything at all to my mom at all, and then that way I try to impress my mom and get some pocket money.
Oh my, you finessed. Oh, Georgina's out here hustling. We love to see it.
When you're having a dumb brother, that's what you're doing. I hope
Hey.
that he's not going to listen to this podcast.
Oh, it's on now. Oh no.
Okay, tell me your question, honey. It's your turn.
Okay. Oh. This one's beautiful, and it does involve Piastri. So, Georgina, Piastri, you get the opportunity of picking one of the two. You can't have both, and these are the conditions. Piastri finally gets a seat in F1, but he has to stay with Williams for the rest of his career. No matter if Williams improve or don't improve, he's just stuck at Williams for the rest of his career. Or Fernando Alonso for a year in a Red Bull next to Max Verstappen.
Oh, that's easy.
Is it though? Because
That's easy, honey.
one,
I'm putting on Alonso for the Red Bull.
so you're
Piastri
gonna
can
deprive.
stay the next, I mean, Piastri can stay and then get into another seat next time. But
True.
Alonso and Max Verstappen, that's a
Oh,
combination worth
fireworks!
watching.
Fireworks! Katy Perry
You're
stuff.
giving me all the easy questions, man.
Nah, I thought you would have been more hesitant on that because I wanted to just throw that condition in there, like, oh, well, Piastri could only drive for Williams if, because that's the whole thing as well. It's just like, when is he gonna get the opportunity? Because the sad thing as well, like Georgina, I'm sure he will because like people have been very vocal about it, but there are times where people like win F2 championships and they don't get a drive in Formula One, which is nuts to me because I would like to think that people that win F2 should just get automatic promotion into whatever team's available at the time. But yeah, I was like, let me add some spice. Piastri in a Williams. Piastri gets a seat, but it's just in a Williams the rest of his career, or Alonso and Verstappen 1 year at Red Bull together. But yeah, no, okay, I see. Interesting choice. Okay, cool. Well, that's
Yeah,
my
I mean,
one.
Alonso on a seat for 1 year stuck with Verstappen is way better than Piastri stuck with Williams forever.
Yeah, true. Probably be a waste of his time and like talent there. So I agree.
Yeah, so okay, my question to you. Hmm. If
Dun, dun,
you
dun.
had to hook up with anyone, then who would it be? Anyone, so you can either choose a celebrity to be on the lame safe line, or you can
Mhm.
choose this to tell your crush, maybe. Who knows, man? So use wisely.
That's that's the thing. Like all the amazing people, they're all like wifed up. So yeah, it's looking a bit sticky for your boy AMG Dens. But nah, I've always had a crush on. Oh gosh, this is me exposing myself. I always had a crush on Serena Williams. Just like I've just always thought she's just beautiful.
Hands
Just
off, she's married.
hey, they don't need to know that. Oh, but yeah, Serena Williams, whoo, whoo, she's just crisp, and yeah, and my mom would literally like rip the shit out of me for this, but apparently when I was 3 years old, like Kylie Minogue, I'm spinning around, I can't lyrics,
Ooh, she is
vocals.
a good choice.
But yeah, like apparently when I was 3 years old, Georgie, and again, I have no recollection of this. This is just my mom like being a bully. My mom would say to
She's a
me
good
like when I
singer.
was, yeah, she is, and I always used to be like, mommy, Kylie, mommy, Kylie. Like, apparently, I used to do that when I was like
Thank
three or
God
4 years
Kylie
old.
Jenner was not there.
Yeah, this is the original Kylie. Forget Kylie Jenner, man. Yeah, Kylie Minogue. Apparently, I had a crush on her, and then I had a little crush on Gwen Stefani. I had some very interesting crushes. So yeah, those are who I'd pick for my date. But who would you pick? And you can't pick Lewis because you already picked him.
Darn it. Oh my God.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow. I actually never thought that this question would come back to me to bite my ass. So,
I come back to haunt you.
wow. To be to be honest, when it comes with celebrities, I never had a crush on anyone. So
Mm,
there's that.
okay.
To be really brutally honest, to be exactly honest. So, oh, good God. Um, Darn it, man. Wow. Oh, I don't know. Wow. Okay, that's to be continued. I will think of an answer and I will come back to you.
I won't forget, So yeah, we'll come back to that one because I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. I'm
All right. My
intrigued.
question to you. Wow, I have the nastiest questions, I think. Okay.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Um, have you ever had sex with someone who you didn't like?
I'm gonna have to delve back into my uni days for this now. Didn't like as in physically didn't like or personality didn't like or just like it's
Personally didn't like.
hmm.
I mean, come on. If you didn't like the person physically, then you won't be sleeping with that person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, like I don't know. I think I went through like a phase where like I think I found like again what people would take away from this like very off topic kind of like podcast episode is that I'm a bit of like a
They
like
must be thinking, okay, this is supposed to be a fun series, and what the hell are these people talking about?
exactly. But no, like I don't know, like what people will probably gather is that I'm a bit of like a hopeless romantic. So I'm like the guy that will take a girl out on a date, have like, picnics, like bring flowers, like I'm that dude. Like so yeah, like I think at uni, like probably one of the first girls I got with Like I thought it was like a serious thing, but clearly on her side, it was just like a kind of friends with benefits kind of situation. But she didn't want to basically call it that because like men have a really disgusting thing as well of like calling women whores or being quite derogatory to like to them when really and truly like as long as people are being safe, like people should be as sexually liberal as they want. You know, it's their choice at the end of the day. So yeah, it was like a friends and benefits situation. A long story short, yeah, it like I wouldn't say I didn't like her, but it was just one of those situations like, damn, I like you so much, but I don't want to give you what you want because damn, like that's the only thing I have left, basically. So it was just like, I'm not gonna do this again. This is the last time I'm coming around here. And then like 5 days later, she's like, Denzel, you free? I'm like, hell yeah! I just put down my law textbooks, jump in an Uber, and I'll be there in like 5 minutes. I just look back on those like younger years of Denzel. I'm like, boy, you were just up to no good. So yeah, like that is like the convoluted version of it. Yeah, like, but how about you? I have to throw back the same question to you.
No, really, no. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, no, I haven't.
Oh, okay, fair enough, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I
And
mean,
see,
call me a
Georgina's the
nerd.
queen, so she probably gets like the pick of the bunch. She can't just be any regular degular dude.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, not really. Yeah, I mean, if I don't like the person, then no, no way.
Mm, mm. I
So
hear
that's
that.
why, there's this saying, for men, they sleep with anyone they could, but for women, they sleep with anyone they choose, or something
Ooh,
like that. I can't remember
ooh.
exactly the sentence, but yeah, something like
It's facts though.
that.
It is kind of true, especially like when guys are younger. I think they just go for that thing where they'll just like, yeah, like you said, like they won't really pick out the wifey to be unless they're a hopeless romantic like me, you know. But yeah, like
So,
but hey, I'm a good boy. I told you this is a G kind of like family friendly show. You know,
yeah,
sponsored by
I mean,
Nut
the
Jam.
innocent one is also,
Sponsored by Nut Jam.
innocent.
Oh gosh, I can't believe I said that earlier. Okay, moving it swiftly onwards. Sponsored by Nut Jam.
That's going to be my treat. So today, Denzel and I had a chat about Nut Jam. What are your thoughts on that?
This sounds so wrong. I can't get over that. And yo, if Durex or any of these like companies ever use that, hey, I'm coming for your neck. Like I want,
Copyrights, man, copyrights.
yeah, I want my royalties for Nut Jam because that is crazy. Okay,
All
cool.
right, your question.
Okay, number 18, Lance Stroll's number. We had this discussion earlier on tour, and I just wanted to ask it again anyway, so I can delve into it a bit further with you. Best driver in F1 not to win a championship.
Sterling Moss.
And that's the thing as
And
well,
there,
like,
there goes my dog.
I think he disagrees.
Dude, can you shut up?
I think he's
Whenever he
disagreed.
hears another sound in the middle of the night, if
Mhm.
another dog from somewhere in the neighborhood barks, he barks back because he doesn't like sounds. He wants to sleep.
Oh my God. He's like me. I don't blame. I've lot coming with Georgina's dog. Hashtag Georgina's dog. I have to get him on the next episode. But yeah. um
Yeah, so
yeah,
Sterling Moss, actually, yeah.
but why him? And also just like from your perspective as well, Georgina, like what is it
Well,
about Sterling Lost that appeals to you? Because obviously for us, he's like the British darling, like he's very elegant and very
yeah, but the
charming.
thing is, like, when it comes for the mechanical era and the development of that side, the way he was driving, it was not that much developed like today.
Mm,
If he had a car like the cars that we have today, then he might have won that championship. But he
true.
didn't. But he's one of those great drivers who knew how to handle a car, you know, pushing it way beyond the limits. He knew that. He knew how to handle it. Because those days, the golden ages, the car was more into the mechanical side and less into the technological side. But nowadays, it's very modified, it's very techy and stuff. So
True.
that's why I said I agree with what Diplo was saying during that last episode. These days, mentality wise, it's very draining, and you need to be very focused on the mentality side when it comes to the driving. But those
True.
days, it was regarding the mechanical side, so it was physically demanding,
Mhm.
so it's very unfortunate that Sir Sterling Moss didn't win any championship, but
Mm.
he should have, if he had that mechanical development side. He was in the era of not having that much of a development when it comes to the mechanical side. I guess that's basically what I think. It's just my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout, and I think even just the driving aspects out of it as well. Just he's just such a charming guy. Like he is like Great Britain. He is just like he had a very kind of charming personality. He was very kind of like not like these modern drivers that are a bit stingy or playing mind games or like trying to play up to the media. Just like he is very professional and like always well spoken, always kind of like diligent with his work and how much he cared. And yeah, just like even in this British culture, like police often say when they're slowing people down, who do you think you are? Sterling Moss? Like that's just become like a popular culture like reference. It's even in British culture. So yeah, sad that he's no longer with us because even just in his latest days, I remember Mercedes doing like a film with him and like Lewis Hamilton, and it was like the old guard and the new guard as one, and just seeing both of them in like the old school Mercedes, like way before the W13, of course, like like the W probably 196 or something crazy like that, Streamliner. He had all these funny names for the cars back then. Just, yeah, just how passionate and enthusiastic he was. And most old people when they get to a certain age, they're just old and grumpy, like Nelson Piquet. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, my question to you is, what was my question? Okay. All right. What was the last thing you searched for on your phone?
Ooh, let me give you the answer. And hopefully it's not a popular website beginning with P and ending with B. I'm joking. I'm joking. It wouldn't be that so early this afternoon. I can reassure you. But no, jokes aside, no. I typed in BBC Three because again completely unrelated to Formula One. There's a documentary about this quite eclectical DJ called Tim Westwood. He's really popular in like the MTV UK scene, and he put on like a lot of UK rappers onto like the scene and made like a lot of like popular rappers from like in the early 2000s popular today. But the issue was is that some allegations came out that he's getting
Oh,
quite
regarding the
handsy.
sexual harassment, is it?
Yeah, how do you know?
Or when you're living in Twitter, you're living in Twitter.
Yeah, well, listen, like you clearly you just keep your like eyes to the streets, and we love to see it. So, Georgina, shout out to you, because yeah, like I just want it to just be a completely local thing, and it'll just be people in London that check it out. But yeah, just it's on BBC iPlayer,
Too
but I
late for
thought it was
that.
gonna. I know, right? But yeah, just it's supposed to be on BBC iPlayer, but for some reason I thought it would be on BBC Three. So I was like, okay, cool. I haven't been on BBC Three. I barely watch TV these days. So I was like, what channel is BBC Three on? So that was the question I put into Google. I was like, what channel is BBC Three on? And then I was like, wait, it's not even on TV. It's like something that's on like BBC iPlayer that you can watch online on demand. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably check it out because men abusing their powers in high positions is something that's not new, unfortunately, but also shouldn't be taken lightly. And if the guy in any way, shape, or form did that, cancelled straight away, cancelled, just cancelled, locked up, throw away the keys, and feed him to some alligators. That's just how I deal with like people like that. There's no place in society for women. Oh no, sorry, well, not women, but men particularly that like abuse their positions to sexually harass or molest women. Don't have time for it. Don't want to see it, and guys like that should be like punished to the most extreme, hardest letter to the law. So yeah, the jury's out on that one, and yeah, I was intrigued to see how they do the documentary to see whether or not he's guilty, innocent, or it's gonna be those ones where we just don't know.
That is great, actually. I mean, I didn't know that you're into documentaries as well. Do you normally watch documentaries?
It really depends, Georgina, because I have moods for it. Like, I think I just go through phases with TV shows and documentaries and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are times I like go through like binge watching a few, and even recently there was like a Kanye West one, which again I was kind of not so partial to begin with, because at first I was like, Kanye can be a bit narcissistic, or he can be a bit kind of like putting people down just because he's
Yeah.
successful. But then when you understand, like, how hard he had to work to get to where he was, and how he was like a music producer, but he wanted to be a rapper all the time, and Jay-Z and Dame Dash and all these people from the record label, like, no, you'll never be a rapper. You're just like a beat maker. And he had to like continuously like prove these people wrong and say, yo, I am a rapper. I was like, I could see kind of like why now, like he doesn't take crap from anyone. He just says how he feels, because he feels like he's been oppressed, and people have tried to stop him from achieving his goals for a long time, and he still achieved his dreams. So how do you hate somebody like that? So yeah,
Yeah.
like I go through phases of it, but also listeners and also Georgie, if there's any documentaries you want me to check out, let me know. My DMs are always open, so put them forward.
Wow. I watch a lot. So,
Hey, what have been your
but
favorite ones so far or recently?
well, okay. I'm not a person who's into fiction stuff. I'm
Mhm.
more into non-fiction stuff.
Okay.
So, getting to know the real world regarding political stuff and, stuff like that. The behind the
Yeah.
scene, the bigger picture, and, intriguing topics, headlines, those type. So, a few documentaries that I would recommend you to watch is I will drop you the names. One was regarding Citizen One or Citizen Four. I can't remember. It was regarding Edward Snowden,
Okay.
um, the documentary, and then there was one documentary that I watched regarding the Egyptian revolution called Tahrir, the Square.
Okay.
And then there was another one regarding ISIS, how it began, what was the reason, who made it, and this and that, and stuff like that. So it's really interesting when you watch all these documentaries, and especially when these people from CIA and everywhere, when they get interviewed, and the statements that they give while they're on duty, and the statements that they give after retiring are very different sometimes. So there's that, and then I watched the Russian nuke, Chernobyl, right? Chernobyl,
Yeah.
that documentary, yeah. And then there was another. This is not the other series that I watched. It was not actually a documentary series, but it was more like a special limited edition drama series, but it was based on a true event where
Mhm.
there was this Ebola virus was suddenly got affected in US, um, in a testing laboratory, some sort of thing. So, it's interesting to see all those new angles, what's
Mhm.
happening in the world, and so I'll drop you some of the names. When you're
Yeah,
free, you
send them
can, yeah.
through.
All right, Denzi, what's my question?
Okay, number 19. No, 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 no. Okay, so Georgie, you've gone from all those things I mentioned earlier, and now you are the team principal of your own Formula One team, stripping the dip and racing. Oh yeah. And you have to pick one company to be your partner, like your team sponsor partner. So obviously, Red Bull have Oracle, Mercedes have Petronas, and yeah, we're not gonna be sponsored by Nut Jam. Let's put that out there.
I was
So,
gonna say that.
what company would you pick to sponsor your team?
Petronas.
Man, you can't pick them. They already sponsor Mercedes.
um, Wait, Rich Life Energy.
No, 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 Georgie. No, you can't let you go to the dark side like that. No rich energy. No. You already saw what they
I
did to
would
Haas.
see, right? I know, right? Okay. I would, I would. pick as a sponsor, can I just use Mazepin's money and throw him out again?
I mean, Haas did that, so why not? You're really taking the Haas model, Georgina. Love to see it.
Hey, why not follow F1, right?
True. I mean, they're doing well right now. Can't knock them.
Exactly. So as a sponsor, bloody hell. Um, I would actually pick.
Not even that. M- m- How could you not say
Mm,
this? Muscle nerds.
oh yeah,
Duh. Like, well, I would have thought again. Probably shout out to the slow pit stop guys as well, Arfat and Mohammed as well. Like, maybe again because I know you're quite into fitness and obviously like going into the gym and training and strength and bodybuilding and stuff like that as well. Would you not consider maybe like a like supplement company or isotonic drink company or something like that? Maybe.
actually, that's a great idea. Wow, man, where are you? Where were you? I was
I
like
know,
thinking
right?
all these big ones, and then you're like, oh, why don't you go with that? I'm like, bloody hell, the simple thing was right in front of me, and I didn't even bother to look at it.
Oh, there we go.
That's cheating. That's cheating, man. That's cheating. I was just considering about the big companies. We need to help them,
Yeah,
not
well,
the
I mean,
smaller ones.
pick one of those as well, by all means. Like,
No, actually, I would. Yeah, I would rather choose my muscle nerds. And well, actually, that's a great idea. I would get a sponsorship from some of the companies that has um, energy drinks and supplements and stuff, and combine it with the F1 team that I have, so that it can promote an area that is not very often talked much, spoken about. Yeah, like okay, what are the energy drinks that we have? Isotonic, Gatorade, yeah, something like that. I would go with something like that.
hey, good choice.
Yeah,
They do the
yeah,
sparkling water, don't they? Perrier water.
yeah. The Perrier water. I mean, most of the bodybuilders who are going under a water card, because when they're doing bodybuilding, they have the diets, and then they're having peak weeks and stuff. So on the last week, before the competition day, they are going under a water cut. So they're starting from reducing the water to no water.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of the bodybuilders, they use these Perrier water and stuff,
Mhm.
because the percentage of the water concentration is lower, I think. So that's why they're using that. But for that also, they're not using a lot of water. But yeah, so maybe we can use that for the drivers as well, because less water, but if you can, thirst the quench, that's a win-win situation, I guess. You don't
Absolutely.
need to pee yourself on your while you're driving.
Of course. I think Michael used to do that back in the day, but yeah, just peeing in your seat, not for me. So I think that's a good kind of alternative. I think it would be really popular.
What would you choose as a sponsor?
Ooh, do. I pick one of the great like podcasters as just like a sponsor because I think you know forget Sky Sports. I think like the
Oh,
community
good
need
God,
more
no.
recognition.
No, Sky,
So
no, Sky, no. The
e-
sky is actually shuddering now.
exactly, probably shaking in their boots. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the thing. I love like the color scheme that the Quick Stop F1 uses as well. Shout out to them. But then
yeah,
Racing Incident with like Anna and Ellen as well. They have quite a cool pink and like black and white kind of almost retro Force India scheme there too. I don't know. I'd have a podcast on the side of the car too. Just to have people talking and again just like how Red Bull do their PR, but it's like negative PR. We can have a podcast. So that's positive PR. So yeah, I'd probably pick like a podcast company.
all right. Okay, so we will end the episode with just 20 questions, because we've already have more than enough time and people will be getting bored with us. But I'm going to ask you this last question, because this is going to be our 20th question, right?
Hmm.
Denzel, are you
Yeah, yeah.
there?
I'm here. I'm here. I haven't gone anywhere, so yeah, I said yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask you this question, and then I have another extra question that I kept because I had 26 questions, and the 26th one was a special sort of a question that I wanted to ask. So, the question that I'm going to ask now, out of all those questions, bloody hell, I have good questions. I couldn't even ask those. Anyways, um, let me ask the most embarrassing one. Have you ever farted in an elevator?
Not in the elevator. Nah. That's the weird thing. Like, I don't like tend to get gassy. Like, yeah, in public for some weird reason. Believe it or not. Yeah, I've never had it in the elevator before. No, but I have been in the elevator whilst that's happened, and I was like almost puking. It wasn't the greatest experience.
All right. So, this is my last question that I was going to ask you, the extra bonus question, this is actually not a question, but rather a request. So, if you need to say something to your parents, then what would you tell your parents? Send them a message.
Sharon, Ray, thank you just for being so supportive and helping me realize my potential. At times I was like, geez, you guys are being strict on me, man. You guys aren't letting me go outside and play football. But no, I think that their sacrifices have paid off and it's helped me to be the young man I am today. And yeah, I'm just super humbled and super thankful that they've been, proactively in my life from when I was small. And yeah, just they've always encouraged me to treat other people the way I'd like to be treated and to be a respectful young person and to try and uplift others. So I'm very thankful that they've picked me up and believed in me even when other people didn't believe in me, and that they've given me the confidence and the encouragement to achieve the things that I have. So yeah, that'd be my message to my parents. How about you?
For me, well, my dad passed away when what was my age? I was around 14, and my
Oh,
brother was around just 1 year, actually. So we have a
wow.
13-year gap. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, for my mom, she's the whole world. She's the person who single-handedly actually raised me and my brother. So I'm very proud of her, and I just want to say that I love her so much, and I wouldn't even make a change of who I am, because I am who I am because of her, due to her actions and due to her raising. So I love her. And,
Oh.
you know, one day I really hope that I can, take her around the world, to be honest.
That'd be amazing. And like, where would you guys travel if you guys like had the choice?
I want to take her to Greece, um, Egypt, every continent, every continent.
That'd be a really good choice. And I bet it would be so lovely as well that you guys get to spend time with each other and have those experiences. And yeah, and just another thing I'd say as well, Georgina, is that your dad would be super proud of you. The young woman that you've become, just you're absolute legend. You're a boss. You work so hard, and yeah, like you're not it like dependent on anyone. Like you're so autonomous and so independent, and a lot of people could learn from you. So you're super intelligent and you're such a likable person as well. So yeah, on both sides, I think not even just your parents, but just us, as the guests and the people that form this community with you. We're super privileged to just be with you.
Oh, come on. I'm very grateful to you, to be honest, because I've met a lot of great people on Twitter, and you are part of that. And I'm very thankful for God for sending you into my life as well. Because, see, we are doing a podcast together, Denzel. How amazing is that? How
I
crazy
know,
that
right?
you're that crazy and we're running a podcast.
I know, right? And we're like peanut butter and jelly
Not
again.
jam, man, not jam.
Yeah. And not Jam either, but, but anyway, just honestly, like it's so amazing just how it's come about so organically, and like if people are listening at this part of the what do you call it, the podcast, I don't know, we'll come up with a secret word for you to say to us on Twitter if you got this far into the podcast, because it's super cool when people listen to everything and then like it's like a little Easter egg of knowledge that they can drop on us towards the end. But yeah, my final two questions to you, Georgina, because I had quite a
Yes.
few as well, but I'm conscious of time. Oh, this is a spicy one. All right, so I'm gonna start with this one. You have to pick a member from Team LH to become the team principal to replace Toto Wolf. Who'd you pick?
Bryson.
Good choice. I think Bryson. I think would be the safe option. I think the smart option to go for. I want to
I
put
mean, the
Nilly
guy
inside
has
there
good
too, though.
knowledge about the aero and engineering side, so I think it'll be very helpful. If I'm talking about that, techie side. So if
Yeah.
not, overall, I think it's going to be you, to be honest.
Oh nah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
sacrifice myself. I'm actually gonna
yeah.
nominate Nilly for team. Could you imagine Nilly being a team principal?
Ooh, that's going to be one hell of a team.
Oh, like I don't even want to say she's gonna be like our Gunter Steiner, like nearly just running a Formula One team. Oh, I'd pay to see that. That'd be incredible.
I
Like,
was just going through Twitter, the tweets that we received for your wonderful tweet. Um, Nili and Nasumi both are going crazy over here.
I could imagine. Could you imagine the two of them as team principal? Yeah. We need that.
Yeah,
When
definitely,
To
definitely, definitely. But
when Toto
if
Wolf
you
resigns,
put Natsumi to the team, and
mm,
if Sunoda pass by, and we won't be having the team principal at the garage.
yeah, not even that. I think like Yuki would just get promoted to Mercedes anyway, whether he's
Mhm.
like the driver or the test. He would just be a Mercedes driver if we
Yeah,
employ
that's a
Natsumi, which we
possibility,
would.
higher possibility.
So you know what? Let's say Bryson is like. So Bryson will replace like James Allison. He'll be the head of technical. Me and you would just be like, I don't know, like the correspondence and the social media team because we're awesome like that. And then yeah, we're gonna share like the team principal role between Natsumi and we're gonna share between Nili as well because just the two of them as team principals, that'd be pretty cool and crazy as well, just to see how that would work out.
That will be one hell of a team.
Could you imagine if George has a bad race, what Nili would probably say to him?
I don't know. I don't want to even say that over the podcast.
Exactly. But then again, if Lewis had a bad race, I can imagine Nili being like, no, it's
Well,
okay. Go
no, it's
Lewis.
okay, Louise. You have those bad days. It's okay. You run
Exactly.
along, kid.
And then if it was George, and like just
What the hell, man?
screaming
What
at
the hell were you doing?
oh man, that needs to be a thing. I think I'm gonna tweet. I'm just gonna tweet after this thing and just say, yeah, like
So,
if
what's your
if like
last question?
oh okay, last question. Ooh. I'm gonna tie the two of these together because again they're centered around drivers.
Okay.
Uh which driver would you pick to have on the podcast? Bear in mind again, you can't pick Lewis because you've already picked him.
Mm-hmm.
And which driver would you have cook you a meal?
Um, I would pick Carlos Sainz to cook the meal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gives that chef vibes. I don't know, you know. Um, to appear on the podcast.
You can't deny Yuki
Wow.
now. You can't deny Yuki.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, I can't call Verstappen as well, no Checo as well. So who's going to be the controversial person? Because I can't even have Latifi now.
Yeah, Mr. Crash.
Ooh, I will have Mazepin. Can I have an ex driver? If
Nah,
it's
I'm
going
not
to be an
allowing
ex
that.
driver,
Nah, I'm not allowing. Nah. Come on, Georgie. Like we've
this
had
damn
greats
team
like
principal is
Bryson.
very strict. Okay.
Like, come
Um,
on, like the
okay,
standards on this
okay.
show.
All right. Then, oh, I will have Fernando Alonso.
Hmm.
Can you trust
Hmm.
me? I have good questions that either he can, ace it, success it, or he will get burned. Because one of the questions will be, are you planning to have a Christmas dinner again?
Yeah, if you interview Fernando Alonso, I just think I'll be standing there with my machete, just waiting for him to say anything out of line about Michael or Lewis. I'll just be there, like just humbly waiting for him to say something. But no, I think that would be a good episode. But I don't know. I think Yuki as well would just be so hilarious because just he's so outspoken and like he wouldn't shut up either. So it would just be just like him going off like on random tangents about stuff, and like Franz Tost like grabbing him by the ear, one ear, and then Natsumi grabbing him by the other ear, like shut up, like him just going off on one. Oh, so funny. But yeah, that is Joji. Do you wanna add anything else? Joji, hello. Where's she hiding? Well, this is funny. Is Georgie there? Is Georgie gonna come back? Let me text. She
Well,
absolutely left me.
in my defense, this country's network stranded me first. So
Okay, fair enough. That one can run.
yeah, so we had a small issue. I left the network and the recording was halfway done, and well, here we are again, people.
Did it actually save it, Georgie?
Yeah, I did actually save it, so we can use that and we can continue the end as well. So, as I was saying, I wish that I get a chance to interview all these people because when it comes to the profession, I'm very professional, so I can ask all these cutthroat questions that no one wants to ask, and I can get the answers as well. So I really wish that I can get a chance to interview Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, all these controversial people, even Helmut Marko.
Yeah, the helmet Marco one would be very interesting. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But again, you said you'd rather listen to him every single morning than yeah, have Ricardo's toe jam. So no pressure there, Georgie.
Yeah, that $1 million question.
Oh gosh. Well, guys, we hope that you really enjoyed this session. Honestly, it's quite therapeutic, and I feel like I've got to learn more about Georgie as well, which is obviously an amazing thing. But yeah, super funny. We need to have more like lighthearted sessions like this as well, when things are not as hectic or it's a bit of a slow week, or just generally just like to have some fun. Maybe we'll have to bring in some viewers as well, just to chop and spice it up a bit even more. But yeah, I had a lot of fun like coming up with these questions, and some of the questions, or not even some, all of the questions Georgie asked, I think were quite insightful in some way, or really interesting, or had me on the back foot for a minute. So shout out to Georgie as always. But guys, let Georgie start this off, and yeah, is there any final things you want to say to the listeners, Georgie?
Um, well, thank you so much for tuning in with us, and thank you so much for the feedbacks, the thoughts, the opinions, and I really want to thank all the guests that appeared on our show, and Nili, of course, Nili for suggesting, giving ideas, and Nasumi for giving the support, for giving questions, for some of the questions, and Denzel and I, we always try to come up with all these organic questions that we can think of, all the questions that we can think of. And a huge thank goes out to this person who is doing a tremendous work while he's battling all these work-life balance. So shout out to my guy, Denzel Clarkson. Woo, woo. So thank you
Aww.
so much. And I really want to say, you guys can follow us on Twitter, AMG DENZ and Jorgina Donna, and you guys can send us all your thoughts, all your opinions, all your feedbacks. And if you want to join in with us, then please do do let us know, then we can arrange it as well. And I want to thank every single person who showed the interest of showing to our joining to our podcast, and those who will be joining as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me on this episode. And I really need to mention Denzel is a really great guy. So we sort of started this. I started this with him, me interviewing him, and then we started co-hosting the show. And then I had I had this accident with from my dumb dog.
Oh,
So I couldn't actually host any episodes. So he's been hosting all these episodes, and I took a decision that I should rather stay backstage and help him out, because he's doing a wonderful, wonderful work. So I hope that he gets to uh, interview and do all these shows on TV as well, with a lot of people on media, even on a TV channel maybe in the future. So if anyone's listening, you have the person here, please you look at this person. So there's that. So thank you so much, Denzel.
oh, well, it's always a pleasure, Georgie. And again, thank you for having me on this platform because it's such a great kind of experience just to like interview all the different people. And again, like I'm actually gonna go onto Spotify now and just give a huge special shout out to all the guests that we've had so far since the inception of the show. So let me pull that up because honestly, the list is so long and it's ever growing. I don't think even I
Yeah,
could remember all of them. So let me go to let's see. So obviously
I'm
we got
very, very grateful for all of those guests who appeared on our episode. And I never thought that most of these guests and most of the guests who are going to be appearing on our future episodes, and those who actually replied us back, showing the interest. So I'm very grateful for their humbleness as well. So
well, honestly, this is a huge shout out to all the guests we have so far, and shout out to the listeners too, because we get some incredible feedback from the likes of Jonathan Tranter. Want to give him a huge shout out. He's always
yeah,
checking us out and giving positive feedback. There's so many. Nia as well is another lovely person that gives us amazing feedback. There's so many of you out there, and even if we didn't mention your name, just know that we still have you in our hearts. And yeah, just feel free always to just jump in our DMs and to just tell us anything that you want us to discuss or go through. And we'll always have open arms and open ears to listen and to react to the feedback as well. So yeah, until next time, guys, you got some huge guests coming up in the upcoming weeks, but I will keep those under wraps until then. But yeah, I hope that you'll enjoy this funny episode. I think it's probably one of the funniest episodes I've ever recorded. So yeah, really looking forward to when it comes out.
yeah, it was very therapeutic. But we had 25 questions, but it was taking a bit long, so we decided to cut it off 20. But we will be having another epic episode coming soon as well. So Denzel will be going on the testings.
Oh gosh, here we go again. No, I look forward to it. I'm already gonna prepare myself for part two because it's so awesome. And yeah, like I said, maybe we have to get a few people in here as well, so we can just really spice up the conversation even more. But it's super fun. And as always, Georgina, thank you, and to all our listeners at home, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. We all hope that you have a great week. Be safe, and until next time on the Stripping and Dipping. Peace.